Welcome, everybody, to a special edition show this Saturday evening, where normally we'd be doing Saturday Night Drive-In. We cannot do it because our friend and co-host, Jed, the Hollywood Scholar, well, he's stuck in a van with Jeremy, Drunk 3PO, Krista, Steph, and Beardo on the way to Las Vegas. Therefore, he can't be here. But fortunately, I had a backup plan. I wanted to do a discussion since Picard Season 3 had its finale this week, and I thought, damn, here's my window. I'll just do this. And fortunately, my fellow ballbuster, member of Legion of Meaners, Horny Alf, has decided to join me, and we will get some others joining us this evening as we talk about Picard Season 3. Alf, welcome to my channel. We've streamed together, but this is the first time here. Happy to have you here.
Adam, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. I feel honored to be here in Scholar's Place. But yeah. I've been watching Picard. I watched TNG. I watched DS9, Voyager, the original TOS movies. So yeah, I'm ready for this.
So like you, I'm old school. I love it. I started with original series as a kid. Back when it was just good old normal antenna television before cable. You're lucky if it was something was on and you could see a piece of it. And I watched some TOS bits and pieces, and then I got the animated, the cartoon. That was the final years of the voyage. And then the movies started coming out, or at least they started being released in theaters again, because, of course, motion picture was already out at that point, but in Wrath of Khan, Search for Spock, and I got into it as a kid. I loved it. And when TNG came out in 88, 87 or 88? It's 88, right? I think it's 88.
I thought it was 86.
86? Let me look. I got to look that up.
Yeah.
When did TNG start?
So I know it ended in 94. So
yeah.
It may have been 87. I know it was 7 seasons.
Trek.
And while you're looking that up, my intro to Star Trek, I think, was Wrath of Khan, and my dad introduced me to that. I love Wrath of Khan.
87. 87.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay. What better place to start than Wrath of Khan? There's no better place to start if that's going to be your introduction. Then go back and fill in the holes. That's essentially what I did with a lot of stuff when it came to Star Trek. Went back, but 87 TNG came out, and I, as a 7-year-old, missed the first couple of seasons because it was.
I was the same way. Like I jumped in. I think it was season 3. Because I caught a couple episodes. I remember seeing the Ferengi episodes, and then went right into the best of. Was it the best of both worlds? No,
both worlds. Oh, that was a finale for 2.
No. I'm thinking of the Borg episodes. That's what really I remember that when Picard was Locutus and
that's season 3.
Yeah.
That's season 3.
Yeah.
Best of both worlds. Yeah, I mean, and it's funny. Here's why I got into TNG. I got into TNG because after Voyage Home, Star Trek 4. I thought, wow. I mean, I remember watching the premiere of TNG, but then I kind of fell off because I was a kid and school and all that kind of stuff, and I wasn't allowed to stay up late and watch shit. But I remember after Voyage Home came out, it was the last Star Trek movie I saw with my grandma, so it's got a very special place in my heart. Sentimental favorite. I thought, oh, I remember there's this Next Generation movie. Maybe the Next Generation will tell me where the probe came from one day. That's why I started watching TNG, because I thought I might get that answer. Of course, we never did, but it didn't matter because then I got into it. It was like, damn, this is great. I'm watching this all the way to the freaking end. And I did watch it. Every season was great. I look forward to it. And then we started getting spinoffs. We got DS9. We got Voyager. And by the time Enterprise came out, I wasn't into Enterprise. I did watch the Xindi arc while I was in culinary school because I had nothing else to watch that one time. And I was like, oh, this kind of got interesting. Okay. But like you, I was into it all. I loved it all. I like all the TOS movies. I got them right there. I got a great deal. Got a 6-pack on it on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Jed Revan Wolf. Welcome,
nice.
Jed.
What's up, brother? Sorry.
Welcome.
Thanks.
No problem. We have not the other Jed now that we're going to be seeing around here.
He calls me 2.0. I'm like, no, I'm the original Jed. Everybody calls him other Jed.
We can call him Gay Jed too. That'll work.
We're just doing intros on kind of our backstory and our intro to TNG, how we found it.
Yeah, okay. I'm just telling. I mean, I was saying I got into TNG originally because when it came out, I remember watching the pilot, but then because I was young, I couldn't stick with it. But then after Star Trek 4, Voyage Home, I thought, hey, I wonder if they'll answer the question where the probe came from in TNG. So I started watching TNG hardcore then. Of course, they never did, but it didn't matter. It was so good. But I was saying, we got all these spinoffs and movies and all this stuff, and I liked it all. I know some people have issue with the TNG movies. Of course, I do agree Generations is abominable for a lot of reasons. But the rest of them, I actually, okay, the middle two. I liked First Contact and Insurrection. They're the only other two on my shelf. I don't, of course, Nemesis. I've tried to pretend for years it didn't happen. But oh yeah, I worked very hard. Just like I even went off for a period of time. I started reading the Star Trek expanded universe in books, and I started with a really good one where it was a Picard Beverly centric book where Beverly gets kidnapped by what's her name? Tasha's fake daughter from the alternate reality. Alternate reality, Tasha's daughter. Beverly gets kidnapped, and it was a really good book. Read it in one day.
And then I tried reading that. Even back then said there was like son Picard and Beverly, even in the expanded universe.
Yeah, they had a kid.
Yeah.
So that's what.
My thing is, I think he actually went back and found that, and he's like, hey, let's just give them a kid in fucking Picard, man. Like,
well, I said this in my reviews that once we got into it, I mean, you said last night on Ballbusters, Jed, you waited 2 weeks like I did before.
Yeah, I waited 2 weeks, and after that second episode, I was in because I wasn't gonna watch season 3. I fucking vetoed 1 and 2 because I didn't even make it through the first one. I saw Data die and all this other bullshit. I was like, dude, I'm tapping out. I'm gone. See ya. And then.
I've seen a lot of people, like a lot of fans that have been burnt. I saw them like complaining about this season, and I'm like, fine.
Yeah,
I have no problem with people complaining. If you don't like it, you don't like it. I don't burn anyone that has a problem with it. However, but I'm just glad that we're getting back to the point where we're complaining about stuff that nerds always complain about. Not woke stuff, but story and writing and character development, and that's the stuff that we should be arguing over, not the stuff that we don't want to see on TV.
I think people are so used to arguing over the woke bullshit and not just the kiki bullshit that's the reason why a lot of them aren't giving Picard a chance, because they're so burnt on everything else.
And apathy. Apathy too.
We talked about that last night too.
Yeah, they don't. I think there's a level of fear in it too. There's a level of fear that a lot of people were saying. Some people who I stream with and do stuff with all the time. I'm gonna wait till it's done because I'm still afraid we're gonna get the bait and switch that they're gonna screw us.
I was afraid the whole time that we were gonna get the bait and switch.
See, I wasn't, because enough people like Gary Nerdrotic, Critical Drinker. Other guys, they all said, don't worry, it sticks to landing. We're not going to spoil it, but it sticks to landing. Just stay with it. You'll be fine. And I thought, you know what? These guys, at least for Gary's, as my example, Gary's hardcore Star Trek fan.
Yeah, he is. I'm going to trust Gary. Like I am.
I'm going to trust Gary. Gary feels like I do about this stuff. I'm going to trust him. And since he suffered through seasons 1 and 2, he has enough of ground to say, yeah, okay, I'm gonna not steer you wrong. So if Gary says okay, I'm gonna watch it. But what I'm gonna do is, since I don't have anything to review right now, I'm gonna go long form review on this, and I'm gonna put the time. I'm not just gonna do spoiler free thing. I'm gonna give it in there, and if I'm having a good time, I'm gonna do it. It could be a positive thing, and it turned out to be a massive positive review on that.
And Gary is someone who's completely blackpilled on Star Wars.
Oh so yeah, he's like how apathetic. I am.
Apathetic.
Gary is done like I said. The Last Jedi. Well, it was Ghostbusters 2016, and then fucking Last Jedi that fucking blackpilled me to Star Wars right there. Mm-hmm. Those two things. And then it was it Doctor Who that was next after The Last Jedi. So I was totally just I was full on black. I was like, fuck you guys, and then Disney started fucking up after that. Remember? Yeah. And so I was just total black pill. But then a lot of people were saying that were like, hey, he ain't bashing season 3. What's going on? I got. Oh, you're just another simp now. I'm like, no, dude. There's a lot of fan service, like we say in anime, and love and care that was put into the show.
It's the respectful.
You can see it if you watch it.
Yeah, it honestly surprised me that he liked this show.
Yeah, I mean, Jed, this is the only second time we ever streamed together. I'm a Star Wars EU guy, right there.
Yeah,
there it is.
Me too.
I'm an EU guy, and in 2014, in 13-14, when they killed the EU, I blackpilled. I blackpilled hard.
Pissed.
I almost threw all of that out.
Yeah.
And that's everything for the main timeline.
Yeah.
It's all but I didn't. I just put it in a box and got it out of my sight. And
it's like Gary said though, that Star Wars and Star Trek have very different audiences. Like Star Trek is very niche.
Yeah,
Star Wars is more of a common audience,
and with a divided fan base too. It always Star Wars always had a divided fan base. The fan base was always broken into different sections. But then I blackpilled for years. But then in 2018, when I discovered this sphere of YouTube, I climbed out of my black pill.
Yeah, I found out there was other people just like me out there. Like Gary said with The Last Jedi, you were like, dude, I came out of The Last Jedi stunned. I was like, I'm supposed to like this, but I don't like it. What the fuck's going on? I love Star Wars. I said the same thing Gary said. I'm what the fuck? And then, because my parents, it was like a birthday thing for me. It was a birthday. It was a present. And not because my birthday is this next week, but it came out around, but it was like later on. And so, because it usually comes out in May sometimes and stuff. Yeah. So it was.
Well, they want to tie it to May the 4th.
Fuck that. It's the 25th.
Yeah. 25th, and we are doing a special stream on this channel on Star Wars Day, like we did last year.
Yeah, I like 25th's the real one, and I say that Disney, but bullshit. I went in there, and I came out, and I'm usually after a movie I like, especially after X-Men 2, when you saw Phoenix coming out, and like I was just mouthing off. I'm like, it's X-Men. It's fucking G. You got the Phoenix now, and like, but I came out, sat down, I was quiet, and my dad said, "Are you okay?" I was like, I'm compartmentalizing, and they're like, he always talks after going seeing a movie he loves. After something like Superman or Batman or some geeky shit.
And suddenly it's just...
and I'm just over there quiet, and I'm like, and then my family's like, there's something wrong with him. He's not saying any words. And I was just like, and I can't. Yeah, I was just like, no, what did they do? It's like when you went to go see the 4th movie that we disown hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. After that, I was just like, I came out of that movie angry as fuck. There's only 3 Indiana Jones movies like that.
Yep. They're still riding off into the sunset right now.
Yeah. It was called The Last Crusade for a reason.
Oh, The Last Crusade was my favorite of those movies.
It's my favorite. Yeah. I will go to the mat for those who say Raiders is better. Last Crusade is everything that the 2 movies had in that movie as well. That's why I think
and you had Sean Connery.
Yes. Sean Connery. Yes.
What the fuck, man? You had Sean.
Yes.
Dude. Getting back to
Sean Connery and Harrison Ford in the same movie.
Yeah, I mean, like, who's the genius that thought that one up? Like,
there was an early meme back before memes really started up that said that were them on a screen cap from the movie said too much awesome in one movie.
It was.
It's too much. Awesome.
When they did the fireplace scene where they're like, "Dad, what, Dad?" and they're doing the back and forth. I'm like, "Oh my god, this movie is fucking awesome."
All right, let's take a moment to say hail to the chat, and if it sounds like we're kind of padding, we are because we still got a couple more guests that are going to try and make it, so we're trying to give them a little time here. But we're chatting up, you guys. We're warming up. We got a good evening ahead of us. Hail to the chat. Hail to Goddess Legionist, one of my mods, one of my regulars here to keep the peace. Hail Good sir, Algrim the Strong. Always happy to hear my friend Hale. Setlick 3 Gaming. Going on down. Devil made me do it. Another one of our fellow ball busters, member of Legion of Memers here in the chat with us. And Kale, good evening to you. Hello, Jaden Hamilton and John Ropus Shaggy. Hello, my friend. Always likes to join me on my gaming streams. Anyway,
Jaden says, "Who am I?"
he is a member of the. He's part of the. He joined us with Ball Busters last night, and he's part of the Sphere. Jaden, he's a friend of the channel, friend of us. If he called it a Ball Busters last night, he joined us where we had a good time.
Yeah.
Jeremy's put it back up. You guys can go back and watch it.
Jeremy actually went and looked earlier, and I was telling Sin, because she didn't get to watch it yet.
I watched the stream for about 20 minutes after I jumped off, but I fell asleep, so I wanted to go back and watch the rest.
Well, let's just say there was the lynching moment. I said a few choice words.
And then I said there was like pitchforks and other things.
Yeah, Jeremy was not happy about it. And other things, but still, he's made some edits. It's back up, so you guys can catch it on his channel, and I think he put it up on Rumble too.
I think the full thing's on Rumble.
Yeah.
And Jaden, for that, I've been around on YouTube since 2016, off and on, but it wasn't until the so-called thing that happened around the world, because YouTube will hit us in the ass if we say something.
Yeah. The coof.
Yeah, the beer bug, whatever
the beer bug,
call it.
Whatever proper coded decide to use.
Yeah, that YouTube wants us to say, because but then that wasn't until I don't know if you ever went to the MF or Cocktail Lounge or the Thursday Night Throwdown or stuff like that. I've been over there. I started those two places along with a few other places, and then I had so many people asking me, "Hey, dude, when are you guys gonna do a channel?" I did my own channel. I started up the Pop Culture Archivists, and we did it for 2 years. And after 2 years, I kind of got burnt out, and I had to move, and I was having like some other things. So, but now I'm back, and I'm even stronger. And I have a Jed Revenwolf channel, and we have the Archivist now, and then I have both of them over on Rumble too now.
Jade Hamilton, he's a young man. He showed up around here about a year ago, and he'd never heard of the Star Wars Expanded Universe. And I said, go read it. And he did, and he burned through it, the entire thing in 6 months.
Yeah.
He read it all in 6 months.
Wow.
Isn't that awesome?
He's a young man who likes to read. So we're here to educate him. He hasn't seen a lot of stuff, so we're constantly giving him things to read and watch. Anyway, so hail to the chat. If you're watching and not chatting, we're happy to have you here. And if you're watching on the replay, because when we're done, I'm going to take it down and we'll put up the Reupload. Hit that, like it, leave a comment below. We hope you enjoy the rest of the show. All right, so we are here to talk.
Hey, MK.
Howdy, MK. We are here to talk Star Trek Picard Season 3. We've all agreed we were surprised by this.
Yeah, I was totally shocked, because to be honest, like I said, I thought there was going to be some shit, especially that last episode. I thought they were going to, because I thought they were probably going to kill Worf off or
real quick, others. Guys. There are going to be spoilers. There will be spoilers. We are not going to tiptoe around. Spoiler right behind me. Spoiler.
Yeah, that's the hugest spoiler in the whole fucking
here's the thing.
I said this. That was the best spoiler.
Yeah.
Yes, here's the thing. I woke up Thursday morning. I woke up Thursday morning, and I said to myself, Q's going to be in this.
Yeah, I said that the night before too.
Yeah, when I got it, when I picked it up the night before, and had it ready to go for Thursday morning, I hadn't thought at all. I just needed to pass out and go to sleep. And then I woke up. And I literally woke up, rolled out, and said, "Q's going to be in this. Somehow, Q is going to be in this." I pretty much notched every retcon that I was alerted to that they would happen. They said they're going to retcon a lot of stuff. And there's one major thing he hasn't retconned yet. It's got to be Q. Metalis has been so good about all this stuff. It's got to be Q.
Honestly, of all the retcons, that's the one that makes the most sense, because Q is wily. And him, whether or not you watch the second season of Picard, I don't recommend it. But if you do, it makes the most sense, because
it does.
He dies, but then you find out he's still alive.
Here's
I would see Q as faking his death.
I would too. Here's one thing. Now, first, Legatus says this. No, they didn't. They only de-aged him once in the beginning of Picard season 2. This is
that's him.
Delancey. This is Delancey. He looks that good right now. Delancey looks that good, and he still has the power of Q in him. It's great. So no, there's no de-aging, Legatus. That is Q in this episode. And the clips you've seen, this and that, that's all Delancey. He looks that good. The man is aged well right now.
Yeah.
But here's the thing I thought. When we'll just jump right to this right here. And when Raster makes it, we can get his opinion on this when he comes in a little while. When Q says the line, I always thought the Last Generation would think more, not so linearly.
Mm-hmm.
Here's how I interpret this. I interpret this that Q, he didn't die. He exists outside of the rules of time and space. And it's just, I'm not, I die, but I don't die because I'm a Q. I'm a Q. I don't, So I don't think he ever really died.
I giggled and I said the night before the final episode, I said, their Q's coming back. And I said, but somebody goes, but he's dead. I was like, no. And the thing I said was, I think you're thinking linear. And so then when he said it, I was like, oh my God, he just said what I said. I was like, that was a total random fucking thing that happened.
I loved the line where he said that Jean-Luc Picard's story is over at that point, as far as his challenge, his tests, and that it's his son's turn.
It's Jack's turn. I mean, here's the you realize I've watched this clip. I've watched this scene, I think, half a dozen times at this point because I can't stop watching it. Because when I see this, it just makes me goes, this is where we should be going, and we're not. Yeah. And it hurts me, but I keep looking at it because Terry Matalas gets it, and you realize this scene's only 1 minute long.
Yeah.
But it's jam-packed with so much, and it brings me back to what my feelings on Terry Matalas and his appreciation for real Star Trek.
Yeah.
One of the themes in this, and I touched on it throughout my reviews, is that Terry Matalas seemed to be going down a checklist that he created of fixing plot arcs that were left too open at the end of TNG and in the movies, and certain storylines that needed to be properly ended and didn't get enough attention. And also then fixing the wrongs of Cursor and Trek, like this. Like, hey, Q. This is just,
he fixed a lot of stuff that was messed up. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. Just the things that he retconned, I was like, yes! Yes, erase that. Get rid of it.
I mean, let's start with this. I mean, I'll be honest, I have no real plan for this tonight because I haven't done a full season retrospective in a while. Last time I did it, it was the autopsy of Wheel of Time season 1, but that was an autopsy. This is a celebration tonight of something we didn't expect, and even though we don't expect to get any more, we're still going to celebrate it. At least I want to celebrate it because we must. Like, Jed, I think you said this last night. We have to celebrate the things when they do it right.
Yeah,
you can't just have be bitter assholes all the time.
You have to. You can't be a bitter asshole and just when something good happens, you got to call out the bad. You got to call out all the bullshit they're doing at Disney, other thing they're doing with Doctor Who, everything. But when they actually come in and go, hey, maybe I can sneak this behind that asshole's back over there at Paramount and actually do something and give fan service, you call that shit out too. You go, don't be a bitter asshole and go, I'm not going to do it because season 1 no. Go
black pilling solves nothing. Black pilling solves. I've learned that lesson, having black pilling.
And I had to learn that. If you go on my Twitter, one night I got fed up because it was after I was watching the multiple amount of the episodes on Picard, and I put this huge line. People, I was like, for fuck's sakes, don't be so mad and angry at the world. Go hug your dog or your kid or your cat or go do something to make you happy. Enjoy something.
Go ahead. Oh, I do think that the Star Trek creators will not learn from this.
No, they haven't. They haven't.
No, because Terry Matalas set this perfectly up for a new show based on a new generation of characters that they developed instead of Mary Sued.
I know.
We actually like.
We're gonna get into that. Yeah.
They will not pursue it.
Here's how I want to start then. Let's talk about the favorite continuation arcs that Terry tied up for us. My favorite is the fact that the Picard bloodline continues. That was one of the biggest egregious things that Generation did. Yeah. Kirk aside, we take the Kirk thing, he did that too. He fixed that too. We take the Kirk out, but the fact.
And because you don't know,
Kirk was them fixing Kirk's death was my favorite thing.
Okay, that's your favorite thing. Mine is the Picard blowing because it killed me that he was going to be the last Picard. I was like, no,
you can't have that.
You can't have that. And in the generations, the line of generations, there was a Picard on this mission, a Picard on that mission, and now there will never be another one out there. And that hurt me. And also at the same time, Beverly and Jean-Luc. They start at the end of season 7 in that fantastic episode where their minds get linked with the device in the back of their neck, and suddenly we're going to explore that. And then in All Good Things, where you showed that they got married but then got divorced, they teased it, but they didn't follow through. They got to it too late in the series, and then they abandoned it in the movies. Yeah.
Beverly and I always thought Beverly and Picard should have been a thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I should have said. And then when they started setting it up, and that's the depressing thing, because people at Paramount, they set them up for gold.
Yeah.
Okay. And then they're not going to go in on this, and they're just going to do the same shit they've been doing.
Yeah. So that's my favorite thing. The fact that they gave us that there is a history of Beverly Picard, and it's not that she didn't love him. It's that she was afraid of what would happen to Jack being pulled in his thing. And that's why she left. And now here they are together. Obviously, I don't think they were married, but it's kind of, I think we can read into it that they're maybe together again at the end of the season. And of course, then he has a son. He has Jack. And to your guys' point, Jack, a well-developed new character.
Yes, and it made me to see so happy. There were a few things here and there about him, but he was a like he did in the other series he did on the 12 Monkeys.
12 Monkeys, right there. Yeah. There. I just rewatched it recently. I love it.
Did a good thing on 12 Monkeys. He fleshed out the characters, but and then their thing was he had to clean up 2 seasons worth of bullshit and put it in, and then actually on top of that try to put the plot lines where everybody comes out and in plot lines and then start new ones just in case by the grace of God that Paramount actually takes their head out of their ass.
I know.
That scene at the very end of the episode with Jack gave me Kirk/Riker vibes.
Yes.
Jack is such a fascinating character because, one, I like Ed Spielers. I've seen him in a lot of stuff, Downton Abbey, all kinds of things. I like him as an actor. And he just went full into it. He totally committed to the character. And I love when we get full introduction of Jack in episode 2. What was the line? Talking about fathers hate me everywhere, basically. Like man who makes fathers worry, adventurous, sometimes thief. That line right there is what sold me on Jack. It's like, okay, he is fun. He's got he's masculine, but he's a daring rogue, which is what we want to see.
That very last scene, he had the swagger and the humor that Kirk has.
Yeah,
and I Riker both have.
Like he was joking, is like, oh, he's like barking out orders, and he goes to sit in the chair. I found that hilarious.
Yeah, and it's fun. And what I liked it too is that they follow through all season long. And I think everybody's saying, "Gee, it would be cool if Jack entered Starfleet," but I don't know how that's going to happen in the way this is going. But there it is. They gave us a nice little thing, accelerated program. Yes, little. And he says it in a thing. Yeah, I got a little nepotism. God damn it, both my mom and my dad are both famous admirals. Okay, fine. But he earned it. He did earn it because he was able to come back at the very end from being assimilated. All because also Picard was a good dad.
Yeah, Picard was a dad. Oh, and Jaden asked, what exactly is an ALF?
He doesn't know what a lot of things.
He doesn't know. Okay, so he doesn't know everything that we know and stuff.
No, he is a young man. He's a very young man.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Alf. You explain it to me.
ALF stands for alien life form. And more specifically, it sprouts from a show from the 1980s called Alf, where an alien crashes to Earth, and he is taken in by a human family. Look it up; it's a great show.
Yeah,
and the cartoon on Saturday morning was good too.
Yeah, just to make sure you have a box of tissues for that last episode, though. Oof.
Oh, they made a little movie. If you haven't seen it, they made a little movie that showed what happened after he left at the end of season 4.
Really?
It's on YouTube. Check it out.
Oh, I gotta go watch that then.
And while we have a moment, of course, Mr. Back Taco himself, Jeremy Warren for $2, Back Taco, the next gen. And for that, of course, I have to say,
yes, I can take it in the face.
There you go. I wasn't sure I was going to do that this episode, but you brought me to it, Dermy. I have that in my back
Jaden, they both, it was live action. He was a puppet, and then they have the cartoon show that was on when we were kids too.
Yep, it's all good. It's good stuff. It's good entertainment.
Dude, Jaden, if you like Alf or any of that, you should go watch Howard the Duck. It's awesome.
That is camp goodness.
Yeah, Howard the Duck is like one of my favorite.
And Leah Thompson, Leah Thompson.
It's been more than 20 years since I've seen that movie. I need to watch it.
It holds up. It's in its quirky weirdness. It holds up. Yeah, I always liked Howard Duck. I felt got a bad rap.
And what is it? The dude in it? That's one of his first roles in it too. He was in all these really. He has an Oscar winner, and that was one of his first movies. The guy with the glasses, the nerd.
Oh, I can't remember. I can't pit the face.
It's been so long.
Let me look it up. Oh, Rotman, Tim Rotman.
Okay.
That was one of his first movies.
The 80s. It was a wonderful time.
Yeah, and go watch Flash Gordon, Jaden. You will love it.
Well, in the previous incarnation of the show that's usually on tonight, Saturday Night Drive-In, we have covered Flash Gordon. We're probably going to have to do it again because those have been archived and nobody will see us anymore.
When you guys do Howard the Duck, I want to be there because that's like my movie.
No problem, dude. I will let you know.
Dude, here's the funny thing about this. The reason why I started The Archivist in the first place is because I just wanted to show people all this really cool stuff that I grew up with.
Mm-hmm. Because that's why we do one of the reasons we do Saturday Night Drive-In. It used to be called Sci-Fi Fantasy Saturdays, but due to a certain issue I had with my previous co-host, it was my show on my channel. I rebranded it Saturday Night Drive-In, and I brought in Jed. For a while we had Lady Balefire as our third co-host. I wanted to expand it to a lot of different movies, to all movies, not just science fiction and fantasy.
Yeah. So always all because they're in there. You need a Monster Squad and like tons of, and I love B movies and stuff too. Oh, there's another one. Watch Girlfriend from Hell. Early 90s camp. Really good.
He is into war movies. Jaden Hamlet. Well, one point we will get to Patton, and I will fulfill your wish on that one.
Yeah.
Okay, Legatus, I'll check that out.
Okay.
All right. So, so I love the fact that they fixed Picard and Beverly. Period. I fixed that. That they gave that ending, and I also love that we got a real ending for Data.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Not the sacrifice on Nemesis, not what they did in season 1, which doesn't exist, but this whole now he's human. And it's fascinating, everything about it. And I think you could tell in past Brent Spiner was tired of the role.
Yeah.
But he looked energized in these final episodes when Data entered it. That he was having fun with it again.
Especially at that last part where Troy was like, I feel
that was hilarious.
He's over there driving the fucking Enterprise like the Millennium Falcon through the asteroid field. And
for me, it was I called it in my review. I said, okay, I don't know if it's intentional, but this is basically the Death Star run on Death Star 2 with the Millennium Falcon.
I said either the asteroid field, the Han, or the Death Star run, one of the two.
Well, that last scene with Data, man, that the stuff he was saying was super emotional.
Yeah, and it's beautiful.
It was impactful.
I thought it was great.
But then they cut it with a little humor at the end, which was kind of funny.
There was a lot of good. Here's what I liked about the final episode of the season here, in Last Generation. There was perfect humor in certain moments, and it felt organic. The best one, when they're heading to Borgia Picard, I'm going on Riker. I'm going with you, Worf, and I will make it a threesome.
Do you even hear yourself?
Do you just hear yourself?
My favorite scene was when Worf fell asleep in the chair.
Yes,
he's like,
and my response was, "You earned it, big guy. You earned it."
He's like, there was a bitch I had about when they were going in. And then he pulls out the phaser. He's like, "Dude, did you have that the whole time?"
Swords are fun. Swords are fun.
Swords are fun.
I love and let's be honest, Worf. I think Worf is perhaps the MVP of the entire season. As soon as he arrives on the scene, when he saves Raffi and just cuts down all those guys, I was wild in this. I was going, yes, Worf, yes.
You said Worf was the MVP. I think Riker was a close second.
I would say okay, it would be Worf, Riker, Data, Geordi.
Yeah, that's I
agree with that.
Yeah, because you have Worf, who is he's the backbone of just awesome. He just doesn't bend.
Yeah.
And everything is just straightforward. It's great. And he has and Michael Dorn. I love Michael Dorn. I love Worf. Up until the point he was the only TNG cast member who hadn't completely lost my respect because he was sane with how he's behaving in the world.
He doesn't spout on Twitter.
Yeah, that's it. That's why. He's just Michael Dorn. All he ever said was, "Can I have my Captain Worf show, please?" That's all he ever wanted. And Worf got so much respect in this. He's the elder statesman, but he still destroys everything in his path. And he's got the humor, the basically,
what was it like? Episode 3? He's like, and he's naming off all his names and like, would you like some tea?
Slayer of Duras, House of Martok, Slayer, Bane, the Duras' Bane. Would you like some chamomile tea? It's
so funny.
It's delivery. What's the phrase? I suddenly forgot the phrase. The deadpan delivery that Michael Dorn gives is it's perfect. It's perfect. I love it.
And it makes sense for a Klingon because their humor is different than humans.
Yeah.
So
it is.
You got and then to Alison and then Riker, or both you said Riker's a number 2. Riker, he was there. He was Riker from the moment in episode 1, which was kind of just the episode which I categorize as we're sweeping as much Kurtzman aside as we can in one episode. Mm-hmm. There's a moment where they're going to do stuff where he turns and Frakes even manages to recapture the Riker swagger when he walks. And I caught that stuff. I just went, there it is. He's Riker right now, and it's great. And I love
his Riker's moment. I think it was episode 3 or 4, where he when the Titan got damaged and was floating into the
when they escaped the nebula.
Yeah. Then, it was right before they escaped it.
Oh yeah.
And he went after Picard and just bashed
killed us all.
That
was powerful.
Dude, I was like, damn.
Now, that's one of my few complaints. I thought they were going to run with that a little bit more into the next episode. They resolved it pretty quickly. I can understand that maybe you don't have so many episodes to play with it, but I thought they would have a little bit more of a rift going in for that. But that was a chance to see Captain Riker, because we've rarely seen Captain Riker. I think
because at this point Riker has had an entire career as captain of the Titan.
Yeah,
which they've never showed on camera.
Yeah,
that was something that was in the books, but he's had an entire career as a captain on a ship.
Yeah, and we didn't get that, because all we got in original TNG was temporary Captain Riker during Best of Both Worlds, and then the season 7 alternate reality Riker that Worf jumps into at one point. Other than that, we don't get Captain Riker, so we never really seen that. And real quick, Legatus sent me this since we were talking about Worf. Let's just get this in here. Send me this right here. Tea time with Mr. Worf. Give man a plane ticket and he'll fly for a day. Push a man from a plane and he'll fly for the rest of his life. Yeah. Yeah. I like it.
That is good.
That is season 2 Worf right there. That's season 2.
Oh,
yeah, it is. You can tell. Yeah, because his makeup and stuff is different from later on.
And the haircut and that level of short hair plus his security.
I love his Worf's, because he's a Klingon. But I mean, I know he's raised by humans, but he still is a Klingon, and his understanding of just normal interaction and things, the difference is hilarious.
The only thing I think, I think about this now, talk about that. I think it was a good thing that there was no prune juice references. That would have been one step too cheesy far.
Yeah, but that's still funny for
it would have been funny.
Series.
It would have been funny if it would have worked if him and Raffi had been in a bar and you ordered prune juice. Then it would have worked.
Yeah,
but we didn't get that moment. Because that was like the only window to do it. But okay, so Frakes is Riker. He brought it back. And like you said, here's why I think why Riker is a close second. What was it? Episode 4 when they escaped the nebula as it's giving birth to creatures. Which to me, right there, episode 4 was when I realized that Metalis is committed to giving us a TNG story, because that episode is basically an episode of TNG.
Yeah.
Watching life, giving life, having respect for all stuff, seeing all the avenues of Star Trek, but then also watching the crew get out of a very hairy situation with the Shrike on their ass.
It reminded me of an early episode in season 1 when similar situation where they had a alien, like a very large alien inside their ship. I can't remember which one it was. There was several like that, but
there's several like that.
Yeah. But yeah, it reminded me of that, and I was like, "This feels like TNG."
Yeah, it's suddenly we're feeling the purpose of Star Trek, to explore strange worlds, to find life out there and experience it. And here it is. And what I loved how Beverly realized this thing's alive.
Yeah, and then they bring up the Farpoint reference, and I was just like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah.
And here's to that episode, the quality of it. A lot of that episode for Beverly was show don't tell. They didn't need to tell us, "Oh, hey guys, I've been doing this, I've been doing that, I figured that out." No, it's just Beverly doing accounting because she's onto something. And then she comes to Picard and says, "Hey, this thing's having contractions. It's about to give birth. We got to get out of here. We're going to be in trouble." And it's just right there. You have the characters behaving like they're supposed to. That's one of the biggest things that I think we are all so pleasantly surprised with this is characters we know and love behaving like they're supposed to.
Yeah.
You got Worf being the Elder Statesman Worf. You have Riker, Captain Riker, being a badass, but you have in that episode 4 his conservative nature because he was afraid. And then we're getting, again, we have to deal with a little bit of Kurtz's trick with this. And again, that's the limitations that Terry Metalis was under, makes the best of it, but is able, even though thanks to Kurtz's trick, give us a really great Riker moment where watching the birth of life restores his soul, basically. And
I gotta ask.
Yeah.
The three of us here, what is y'all's favorite TNG character? Mine was Riker.
Worf.
I'll just lay that out there. Yours was Worf?
Worf.
I had a mix between Data and Geordi sometimes.
Okay.
It kind of because in Riker, so it was like Data, Geordi, Riker. It was a mix.
So Data and Geordi makes sense. They were like best friends. In the original show. Mm-hmm. So yeah,
I will say this: I did think in the earlier seasons, Riker was kind of a fuckboy.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Here's the thing: I think here in the end, why I could say Worf is because Worf had so many pivotal episodes that were that were just massively poor. But then I got so much more of him with DS9 that I'm very attached to Worf, and he even has great moments in the TNG movies.
Yeah, so then later on, Worf grew on me as because I didn't like him at the beginning. I was like, oh, they're just gonna put another Klingon like a Vulcan on the ship, you know. But then I actually gave him a chance and stuff, and Worf kind of grew on me. So it's like that's like say, hey, pick your favorite kid. Like you can't.
It's the growing. It was the growing pains of season 1 where you had that. Who are all these characters, and what are we going to do with them? Yeah. And you get the and for me, it was Worf when that early on episode where the one episode where nobody knows why Worf is in a bad mood, and then he'll realize that it's his birthday.
Yeah.
And he wants to do the pain stick ritual, but he has no other Klingons there. And you get that you realize, okay, Worf is caught between these two worlds. And that's his serious nature as a Klingon. His serious nature is because he believes so heavily in the honor of Klingons. But you have to go to DS9 for this, to Dax saying, you're so wrapped up in being the honor, you haven't figured out the fun part of being a Klingon.
Yeah.
And so I love the dichotomy of Worf for all those years trying to find the balance. And here we are in this world now. He's found his balance at this point in season. It's great. And what I loved also is that when we finally have the entire crew of the D/E back together, you just see he's got 4 pips on his collar, and that he was a captain. And then we get to find out that he was captain of the E at one point.
Yeah.
So it's just Worf got all.
I think it'd be interesting to have a show to explain what happened to the E.
Yeah, it's not my fault. I believe somebody said in my comments of that review that it was some sort of. It's been revealed it was an off the books mission, and the E got damaged beyond repair.
I'm a player of Star Trek Online.
Really?
And they're going to have to they're going to have to retcon Star Trek Online because in Star Trek Online, Captain Data was the last captain of the Enterprise E, I think it was. And they're also going to have to retcon the Enterprise F because in Star Trek Online, the game takes place in 2409/2410. And the Enterprise F is still in existence. But in this show, season 3, I've read some stuff behind it. They decommissioned the Enterprise F at the end of this show.
I was confused in episode 9. I thought that was the F's maiden voyage. Somebody had to explain to me that was its final voyage there.
It was 2386 was the beginning voyage of the Enterprise F. But if you've played Star Trek Online, it was different. So they're going to have to retcon.
Star Trek Online. I don't think they're going to because you hardly see them change anything on there. They really do need to do a upgraded. They need to go in there, like some bunch of places like SL and Star
Trek Online. Has been very big about introducing stuff from the shows.
My worry is Kurtzman has a say in there now. That's what my worry is because I noticed because I play too. I haven't been on there in about a year or so. But my worry is that somehow he got his hands in the cookie jar in there, and that's the reason why you haven't seen them do as much.
But I could see after playing in Star Trek Online, I could see them making the changes.
Hopefully, yeah.
I could see them doing that, but it's not a ton of people play the game, but it's a fun game. But I could see them making the changes.
Well, I at one point I was playing Old Republic and Star Trek Online at the same time.
Yeah,
because I have the full Revan outfit on Old Republic. So
yeah, I'm an Old Republic veteran myself. Hey, Raster, how you doing? Welcome.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, Raster, what's up, man?
What's up?
We are talking about where are we? What exactly are we talking about? The ships.
We were talking about Worf in the ships and stuff.
I could start out. Raster, how did you get initiated into Star Trek? Give me your background, your story.
Well, I was coming up around the time where the only thing that, because there was, most people and everything pre-internet age was you was either a Star Wars fan or you was going to be a Star Trek fan. And I was coming up around the period that the special editions came out in theaters, if y'all remember that.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you didn't have access to the books, I mean, I grew up in a very rural area, so the books and everything was like something you didn't find out about, like, oh shit, that actually exists, and
oh dude, I bet you went crazy when you found out about it, huh?
Yeah, I think when it came to Star Wars, I ended up buying all the encyclopedias, but also at the same time, I did the same thing for Star Trek. I've been very much very balanced between the two.
So yeah, so what if I have been too.
Yeah, I mean, Star Wars is first and close to my heart, but that doesn't mean I'm not a Trekkie.
Yeah, me too.
Right. I think each of I don't even look at them on. I mean, I know they're the same genre, but I don't compare them because they're not comparable.
True.
I look at Star Wars as more of a fantasy, where I find Star Trek to be a social commentary along with true science fiction. And I guess when it came to like with Star Trek, we know. So I guess what I'm trying to say is like with Star Wars, I kind of came up in a period where we were dry for content. I mean, the special editions come out and they tweak a few things, screwing up, who shot first, and that was basically all you got, and you kind of like try to catch up what you could with some encyclopedias. But Star Trek was a thing that was always giving. And I remember being in high school, and the entire time, like, is Voyager going to make it home?
Yeah,
that was a thing, and it's kind of like, I hope they make it home. I really hope they actually do.
How are they going to do it? That was the question. How are they possibly going to do it?
Yeah, and so I hear a lot of people, like, especially a lot of Trekkies, that they are big DS9 fans, and I wasn't. I was actually a Voyager fan. And I think it was because it was basically a fish out of water type of situation, and it was kind of like where you had half the ship were rogues and the other half was just pure Starfleet. Now that that kind of came into a wash after a while because the Maquis crew members and everything were basically like Starfleet by the time the show ended, but. Yeah, that's pretty much how I kind of got intertwined into Star Trek, is because it's always been a thing where, and I guess my biggest problem with a lot of modern Star Trek is that I liked it because it was not a dystopian future. It was a future that we could look forward to.
Yeah,
and it focused on the good things about humanity, and I think that's been my biggest problem with a lot of new Trek, is that this opposite.
Yeah.
One thing I said as a kid a lot is like, I wish I could live long enough to see Star Trek happen in reality. That was something I used to say when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like Grasser said, it's grounded more in actual science and the fantasy of Star Wars. So I thought, yeah, it might happen. I wish I could live to see that.
Well, Star Wars is more like how would you say? It's Lucas wanted to do it like the Saturday morning serials you would get when you go to the movie theater, where you'd see the cartoon, then you see the serials, then you see the movies. That's what Lucas wanted to do it.
And it's good versus evil. It's good versus evil. Where Star Trek is, hey, we are just exploring.
Yeah.
We're not. I mean, there are bad things in there, but if you look at it from their perspective, to go back, the Romulans, they weren't evil. They were having their own, to use the international relations term, they're realists. To them, their interests matter more than the interests of everybody else. Same with the Klingons. Their interests matter more. So from their perspective, they're not being bad. They're looking out for their own people. They're looking out for what they need to do.
One of the things I always tried to think about when it came to like Star Trek was that I think Gene Roddenberry was exceptionally talented when he came to writing the lore of it all. I mean, you got languages that are.
Yeah.
I mean, Klingon is a language, and
go ahead.
And I think the interesting thing is that is how I look at. I start looking about all the races. At least, I think I want to say, prior to TNG and a little bit of TNG, and come to really think about it, but that each like race is an amalgamation of like some sort of like culture that we already have here on Earth. And certain types of political stuff, like I guess I correlate a lot of stuff that was happening with the Russians being with Romulans, because like there was like a cat and mouse game, spy versus spy. They were very much into like, basically espionage, where you got like the Bushido code ingrained into the Cleons. So they had them very much of the old Japanese empire embedded into them, where it's very honor based. Yeah. And that was something that was very interesting. And like you were saying, there's no good. It's not really good versus evil. It's about how do we reconcile all these different cultures. And they did a very good job eventually with the Cleons versus Starfleet, and they made it work.
Yeah.
But I think Romulans basically, they had to get a swift kick in the ass or whatever by what they did towards the end with basically their star going supernova for whatever reason.
Yeah, reasons.
Reasons right. Without explanation.
So we started this off one of our discussions here, and now the Rasser will ask you this question. We comment how Metalis Terry seemed to wanted to tie up a lot of loose ends left by TNG in the movies and give us maybe better closure on stuff. What stood out for you the most as your favorite closure that Terry gave us in this season for that stuff?
I would probably say that outside of like retconning all the fuck ups that was happening.
Yeah, besides that.
Yeah,
like actual TNG spot lines that got resolved for us here.
I think surprisingly, I found a lot of satisfaction in Data.
Yep, we were talking about that. Yeah, all right. So tell us why.
Because if we recall, Nemesis was a cluster all to itself.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you got to think that was like how many decades ago? And so
I think Nemesis and Generations were fucking
It was. I was actually a First Contact fan. I think First Contact.
First Contact and Insurrection. I have them both on my shelf because I enjoy both of them.
I have no problem, but it was like with the two that killing Kirk off and fucking
actually
fixed that here. Now.
We haven't gotten there yet, so we keep going. Good going, Rester.
I think with Data, it was being how they left off with Nemesis. What was that? Like a fan, but
somebody's vibrator.
That's horny.
This is the ball busters. Let's leave that dirty shit out of here.
Yeah. This ain't last night, brother. What's up?
yeah. Dermy's calling.
Dermy's here. Yeah. He's quiet right now. He's here.
It don't matter if you have a ringtone or not. It always vibrates. So the whole thing with Data is that basically he did this very selfless act of like, I'm going to eject myself out of the front of the bow of the Enterprise to do what he needed to do to get to the other ship or whatever, because the transporters were down. And then dies needlessly or whatever, when in every other circumstance he was always able to find a way out, like in First Contact. It was just basically, it just seemed like they just wrote him off, and then we were left with B4, the retarded stepbrother.
Might have bit of Data in him, and
and he's like trying to whistle at the end, and there was trying to pull some heartstrings, but it wasn't coming off.
No,
and I didn't feel Data had good closure on that, because he never did reach that humanity that he was really looking for, even though he had a lot of selfless human acts in him. So we speed forward, and then we're left with this whatever they were thinking of in the first season with Data.
Yeah,
and they were like someone probably thought that was giving closure to Data. It was not.
No, it was salt in the wound.
Yeah, it was exactly that. It was like, hey, you remember that guy that died? Yeah, he's dead, and now he wants to be even more dead. And that's exactly what it was. And then they give us this whole thing about like, the what they always called them. They called them it wasn't artificial. Synthetics. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
they call
made
Sun,
Yeah, they basically try to say that they have the Federation were making a slave workforce out of these synthetics. That's my takeaway from it, is that they had a slave workforce and then they banned it because they all went rogue for some reason. And then now they're indistinguishable from regular humans, according to Mary Sue that they had on the show. and then so we got Ray Palpatine and Star Wars now. So she's doing all this stuff or whatever, and that just made no sense whatsoever. And then you got like the space, hentai tentacles coming out, and it made no sense whatsoever. It really did not.
It wasn't Star Trek, not at
right.
all.
No,
and I was like, then it's just basically what it could boil down to was Data was saying, hey, there's some remnants of me somehow around here. I don't know how, because I wasn't networked ever in the show, and never ever said that he was networked in the show. He always had to be plugged in.
Yeah.
So for somehow he's still alive, even though he was definitely killed on this scimitar, or what I think was the name of the ship in Nemesis.
Yeah.
So he died in that explosion. So how the hell does he even exist, period? But that's neither here or there. They say backups, whatever, which we could probably argue that about season 3. But he was basically saying, please kill me more and please end me. And that's what was given to him. And I feel like the way they reconciled not only Data, but kind of ironed out some stuff with lore.
Yes.
In B4.
That was great. I mean, so with the B4 stuff, in Nemesis, they said, Data downloaded all his memories into B4, which essentially was his soul. So I think that's how we're able to get that part. But I was really happy to get one last lore episode. And it was done in such a way where you also were able to get the other characters involved, not just Data. Geordi, during Lore's takeover of the Titan, was so powerfully emotional about that, because he's watching his daughter's in danger, or his daughter, was City, was in danger, and Lore just doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, he's like, no, fuck it.
And because he's Lore. And what I like is there was no redemption for Lore. Lore was still a bad guy. And Data outsmarted him.
But I think he had a good ending.
Yeah.
He did. Yeah. And when Data did what he did, I was just like, oh, I know what he's doing. Data was going through the...
Halfway through it, I caught on too. It was like,
it was like the first... it wasn't until the second thing, I was like, wait a minute, I know what he's doing. He shared
Do you think Data knew what he was... Do you think Data knew what he was doing? Or do you think he was basically just being honest?
I think it was a bit of both. It was basically at the same time he was literally uploading himself through memories to Lore. What Data got out of this was something that I didn't think that he was actually intending or expecting.
Yeah,
was that he has all the capabilities of Lore, like emotions. And actually understanding a lot of those emotions. See, he had the emotion chip since I think like Generations.
Yeah.
If I recall correctly.
He had it. He picked it up at the beginning of season 7, but it wasn't until Generations where he actually put it in. Which was his storyline in Generations. Yeah.
So he had the hardware to do it, but he did not have the capacity. And it showed often that, like, especially during, I think it was really done very well in First Contact, where he was experiencing fear, but he didn't know, if you just told somebody that never ever experienced an emotion before, hey, this feeling that you have is fear, and he's like, he's telling everybody, like, this is what I'm feeling, and everybody's telling him, yeah, that's fear.
And Picard, and he says, Picard goes, Data, I think you need to turn your emotion chip off. Okay, Captain. Data, sometimes I really am jealous of you. Yeah,
and so that's not the same as what Lore had. Lore was actually he had those emotions and that capability to a fault, and because of that, he didn't have the upbringing. He didn't have he didn't know how to process those emotions, and so it came out in a very bad way. with Data is having that capacity, that understanding coming into this. That's why when they're making the Death Star run, he's like having fun.
Yeah.
And you can see it on his face, and he's allowed to, and he's not, is this supposed to be fun? No, he's literally having fun. And there's no question about it.
And that is a great moment, because and one of the great things about it is, and it's the little things too. In the beginning, when he first had reappeared, he was still doing the standard Data doesn't do contractions, but then suddenly after the merge, he could do contractions, and they actually make a quick little point. Geordi says, "Data, you used a contraction. Yeah, I guess I can do that now, can't I?" Okay, but we're okay with it because it's the evolution. Because now he has, like you said, the Lore who had naturally had emotions, but then the emotion chip sent him even more bonkers when he stole it in the Sung episode. But then Data had like you said, I like what you said. The Data had the capacity, but not the ability to truly understand it. But now that was the intent of this fusion.
Well, it was the combination of the two minds, the absorption of
Lore's organic
mind.
ability, but Data's capacity to reach that next level and not have the negativity and hatred born in Lore to drive it and take over the positives. And that's why I agree with Raster. I really did like Data's story here. And it's little moments throughout the rest of that. One great moment with Data is after Jack has gone off to the Borg, Picard is a little hopeless there. And Data walks into the room, says Captain. And I love the way he still calls him Captain and still calls Riker Commander.
Yeah, well, I love how everybody went back to how they were in Next Gen. He goes, okay, number one. Okay, Captain. Everybody just went back to how they were.
Picard said, I'll take the field emotion.
That makes sense, though, because if you look at it from Data's perspective, he's been in a basically cryo freeze since then. So he comes out, he knows everyone from their original identity.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But that moment I was saying, he comes in there, and Picard's at his wit's end, and he says, Captain, is there anything I can say? He says, Data, there's nothing you can say. And Data does the most human thing possible. Stays with him, puts hand on his shoulder.
And
I'm
looks
just going to be here for you. I'm just going to be here for you.
And Picard looks up, and just...
And that's show, don't tell, and it's a beautiful evolution. Data. And again, and pointed out there, as we've already said a lot of times with the Death Star run, Data is, trust me, I can do this. And my thought was, yeah, you trust him. How many times have you put your lives in his hands for all those years? He's Data. He's going to get it done. And he gets it done. And it's glorious. And it's, again, beautifully resolved. During his final scene with Deanna when he's in therapy, I love that. I love that point where he says, I jump back and forth in these emotions, and it's so frustrating. But you know what? I love it, and I appreciate the fact that my quest to become human seems so insurmountable. But now, actually being human, it's an even more difficult journey. But I'm ready to take it, and I'm excited to take it. And when Riker comes in and says, Data, how are you doing? He just goes, I'm okay, which is something very human. I'm okay. And it was great. And that's
very human to hide how you really feel.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful closure. That's I'm glad Raster brought it up. That Data, we got Data's full story. We got the closure on it. And it was fantastic.
It didn't require him getting killed off at the end. It did not require it. He got to have an ending, but still live.
Yeah, the thing that I love, because I was half expecting, because I got told there was 2 different scripts going around. And I know somebody looked at both of the scripts, and they said one where everybody would be absolutely happy with, and the other one would break the internet. I think we got the good one.
We got the good one. I saw there was an interview. Did I save it? I think I saved it. I was going to bring it up later. Let's see. Yeah, here it is. It's an interview with Terry Matalas. Let me bring it up here. That where he mentioned some of the stuff that was left on the cutting room floor. And frankly, I'm okay with some of this. Oops, damn it, wrong screen. Hang on. where he says that in one version they would have had that Soji, Ray Palpatine would have been back, and yeah, thank you for not doing that. And they would have and Ro would have survived. Ro surviving would have been as much as it hurt to see Ro get killed off.
It was done for a reason.
Stakes. It was done to give us stakes. When I saw that, I realized, okay, they're taking this story seriously because they just killed off a fan favorite character. They just killed somebody off, and after that emotional reconnection with Picard, that I was just getting all the good, right, fuzzy feels with it. Then they killed her off, and it's just, this meant something. And if you'd had that undone, would have ruined it.
Yeah, it's like you had that. I was like, holy shit, they just killed her off. What the fuck?
Ro was an excellent touch because of the fact that was something that I even recall, like, whatever happened to her, because that was actually the Ro stories. I think I want to say that she only had 2 episodes in TNG.
Oh, she had a few. She was out.
No, she had way more than that.
Yeah, she had more. She had a bunch.
She came.
Yeah, but I mean, she was a background character in most of them. But I thought two episodes where she was actual, like, a real supporting role.
I could think of a few. It was when she came back and she was a full grade lieutenant, second grade lieutenant. After she came back. There was the episode where she and Geordi phased out with everything. Which, of course, I wouldn't just that's when I go, why aren't you phasing through the bottom of the ship with that? Yeah, another thing. But there was that one. Then there's the one where they all have their memories wiped, and she and Riker bangs her.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there is her intro, and then she's kind of just there a lot of the time. But then, of course, there's her episode where she betrays everybody, which is referenced heavily here. But I always liked Ro. Too.
Okay. I just pulled this up. It says she was in 8 Next Generation episodes, 6 in season 5, 1 in season 6.
Okay.
Which was the popular episode where Picard and other members that de-aged into children, and she disappeared.
Oh, yeah.
She appeared in season 7 episode Preemptive Strike, which wrote her character off, and I remember that.
Yeah.
So the thing with Ro is that what I liked about it was about what I do remember from TNG is that one of the things I enjoyed about a lot with Star Trek is when they make you question whether this is right or wrong.
Yeah.
The only other I know that DS9 did it very heavily towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
Voyager did it throughout almost the entire show, and but Ro Laren was the one where they really tested that in TNG at all, and I remember liking that because I think it is a very human experience and everything. Because I mean, you grow up when you're a kid, you know this is right and wrong, and then when you become an adult, you realize that right and wrong is not as objective as you once thought it was. And it does come from a matter of perspective, and I think that aspect of writing is lost these days because most of the writers, again, I hate to say this, is left leaning, and they tend to always think that the other side is the devil, and I can sit there and say that I have had liberal friends, and I got along with them great. And as long as they maintain that balance or whatever, we managed to make it work and give each other shit about things. I've actually I've actually had a journey in myself and everything, going from the opposite side of the spectrum, believe it or not. And from that kind of perspective or whatever, I find that that old style of writing and everything of question morality and questioning right and wrong is something that they're not good at anymore. And I've always sought after stories that do that.
Mm-hmm. I just enjoyed them closing out Ro's arc with Picard because Picard had a relationship with Ro, and them closing that out was awesome to me.
It was powerful, and I didn't see it coming. I thought, who is Worf's handler? I don't know. And then it's Ro. was like, oh shit, it's Ro.
I didn't see that coming either.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Oh, it took me by surprise too.
Yeah, it was just great. And then
I was expecting someone that was already inside the intelligence community and from DS9 or something like that. Like
I was wondering if they're going to bring anybody from there too. So
I think in the end, it's good that they didn't range too far into the other series. Outside of, I think Tuvok was appropriate because apparently here it says they couldn't get Kate Mulgrew. I think
supposedly they tried.
Yeah, I think there were. I've heard a story where somebody nixed it. They were close to it, and somebody said, "No, don't do it." And in the end, I think it's okay because this is another wrong that I think that I feel like Terry Matalas decided to right, is the sense that I appreciated the Borg storylines in Voyager because that's the Delta Quadrant, that's their origin, that's where they're based.
Mm-hmm.
But I always, even though I like the Voyager finale, I mean, I've seen it many, many times. I always felt that it was Picard's and therefore the D/E's crew to be the ones that finished the Borg off, not Janeway.
Well, I said this earlier, I think in chat. I was like, the Borg was the antithesis of Picard. It was his nemesis.
Yeah.
Just like in DS9 for Cisco, the shapeshifters were his nemesis. Yeah. And so it just makes sense for Picard to bring that story full circle.
Yeah, and it was this was a righted wrong that Picard now got to finish them off. But I did like the respect paid to Voyager that we saw the suffering we saw the outcome, the after effects of the nanovirus that Janeway infected the collective with, or future Janeway infected the collective with at the end of Voyager. I appreciate that. It's respect.
I actually, I will say that, and I'm hoping somewhere in this panel you can provide some answers to me on that. But I know a lot of people just want to say season 2 just didn't happen. You know, we all want to say it just didn't happen. It just didn't happen. You know,
and ignore it.
There is a line where they say we haven't seen the Borg for over a decade. At one point,
yeah, and when they say that, and then I see the Borg Queen as she is, and but being that this is part of the staple of being a Trekkie is canon, and that is something that Trekkies are really big on. Is that even though you might hate a certain episode, or season, or a particular show, all Trekkies will respect it as canon.
Yeah.
And that's how I look at it as Picard season 2. It's just a rule. Yeah, but it now you can get away with like, oh, it's Kurtzman Trek when you're talking about like, you know, the yeah, I guess. But I guess I'm talking about like the movies. You know, with J.J. Abrams in the movies, you can
mean
write
like
that off.
Highlander 2 never existed?
Yeah, quickening. Yeah, different. Yeah. Well, Highlander is special that it has literally multiple timelines that don't connect.
Yeah,
and it started with the quickening.
Honestly, yeah, it's Discovery. Go ahead.
So I guess my thing is that with that being said, the whole thing with the Borg is that, okay, so if what we learn in season 2, Girardi should be the Borg Queen, and they should be an ally to Starfleet because they came to them to be part of Starfleet, part of the Federation. That's how it ended, and then all of a sudden, you got like body horror. Borg Queen or whatever, like I'm your baby mama.
Still voiced by Alice Creech though, which I
did it was her voice. I noticed that was her voice.
It was her voice. Older. She got the credit as the voice, but that was definitely it was a body double. I have a solution though, and maybe I don't want to quite say headcanon, but maybe one could say that everything prior to this season is Kelvin timeline.
Because Vulcan didn't explode either. Vulcan wasn't gone. Vulcan was still there.
Yeah, so. Star Trek Discovery could have solved this problem if they had claimed that Star Trek Discovery was Kelvin timeline or something.
Yeah, I agree.
And a lot of people honestly, would be like, a lot of people would be like, okay, I'll accept that.
Okay, now I can ignore it completely.
With the main timeline, I'll take that.
Well, I was kind of.
Go ahead.
If Metalis or whatever actually, and I have faith that he has a hair on his ass, because he definitely pulled it off and everything with season 3, and it shows that he's not beyond trying to retcon, his master's work or whatever. Yeah. So balls on that dude. I will have to sit there and say that Discovery kind of had themselves into a little pickle or whatever, where they made themselves go into the future. And if anything, we learned a lot of stuff with a previous, especially in TNG, is that the future can be easily rewritten. And it has been.
All good things, yeah.
So with that being said, is that Discovery, I mean, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you saw the trailer for, which, I mean, it really doesn't matter because you saw Worf in this season, but just humor me on this.
Okay.
Because it's the same timeline in the last trailer for Strange New Worlds, which is a show I do like. They showed the Klingons, and the Klingons look normal. They don't look like space orcs anymore.
Not Klingorks. Not the Klingorks.
They did bring they did say something, I think, in this season Picard, where they go, Worf, what's with the thing? And he goes, don't bring it out.
Oh, that was DS9. That was that is one of the best DS9 episodes where they travel back to the Trouble with Tribbles.
I just remember if I got it mixed up because
it's Trouble with Tribbles. We don't talk about that.
About it in this too, but I remember that right there.
So we don't talk about that.
But talk about that. It was talking about, like, in the regular TOS. The regular TOS, they actually had the guys in gold makeup with pointy ears, I want to say.
So they were basically Spock ears, but they modified them somewhat.
And they gave him Fu Manchus. And that's about it.
I can talk to that. So the way they explain it, and before Discovery came around, was that the reason why the Klingons look different in TOS versus TNG was that in TOS they explained it as there was they were manipulating genetic material with Klingons and human genetics and Klingons. That's why they look different.
Yeah.
You go into Discovery, it makes no sense. Because
exactly.
It makes absolutely no fucking sense. So with them in A Strange New Worlds, I think they're trying to fix things. Now, what I understand, what I at least think anyways, is that when they started Discovery, I don't think they had full control of
the 25% different thing.
25% difference.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. They had 25% difference, so they changed things slightly. The uniforms didn't look right. The Klingons didn't look right. Even the Andorians didn't look right. They changed things because I don't think they had complete control of it.
Yeah. I think that they written themselves into a little bit of a pickle. But the thing is that, as always with Star Trek, you can always blame time travel. Damn Barry Allen. But no, it's one of them things where, like, I think they can get away with it because everything that's happening now, since they jumped to the future and Discovery, can be just easily dismissed because it just won't happen. You can just say it just won't happen.
Yeah, but it doesn't dismiss the shitty writing.
Right. It doesn't dismiss shitty writing, but the problem is that now they got the Metalis is going to have to reconcile some sort of way what happens with the first 2 seasons of Discovery somehow. And that does affect a lot. That has been a shit stain on the canon.
Discovery, they'd be best off just saying it's in a different timeline. Honestly,
Kelvin timeline. That is the.
If they put it in the Kelvin timeline, I would accept that and just let it go.
But they've already. I think they already screwed that up because if you watch the last episode of Strange New Worlds where they introduced Kirk, it has his brother in Starfleet, and his father is still alive.
Yeah, it doesn't make any fucking sense.
His
father.
I got nothing.
Dead. That was the
and
whole reason
and then on top of that
is
his dad was killed on the Kelvin because he was the first officer and he took command of the ship or whatever, and it went down. Thanks Thor. But
no, his father was alive in regular timeline.
Right. And Strange New Worlds is written as if that is the original timeline because of his brother is literally Sam is I want to say like a science officer on the ship.
Oh yeah,
I don't know.
Well, there's an episode of TOS where they run into Kirk's brother and he dies.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they got the biggest problem is that Terry Matalas is no longer involved in anything right now. That's part of the problem.
Yeah,
He has said it that legacy, as we've all been deeming it, isn't a thing right now. He has talked with Kurtzman, which whatever that means, we don't really know. But the unfortunate thing is that he set up a lot of great stuff here in this. And I think that's a good segue to talk about the new characters that they introduced here and how, by comparison to all the other crap we see where they try to shoehorn in fake original characters by supplanting things we love, the new characters worked out well. Yes, Shaw meets a heroic end. But Shaw, everybody had fun with Shaw.
Yeah.
Sydney, as soon as Sydney was introduced, I haven't spoken to one person yet that felt off-put by Sydney. It's okay. We have a LaForge, but she's her own person. She's not trying. She's not whamming speaking anybody, and she's behaving like a Starfleet officer. She's doing her duty. It's great. All right, go ahead.
I liked both of the LaForge daughters. I think they were
Alondra.
Yes,
I took 3 episodes before I heard her name, Alondra.
I'm just glad Geordi got laid. He was a simp on the TNG now.
I think we can call that another alteration by Matalas. Geordi got some, and Geordi has a family instead of Geordi, the meme of Geordi can't get a date for 7 seasons, and gets obsessed with a hologram, and then meets the real woman. Oh, I'm married. Oh, I simped over your hologram.
He found a woman that doesn't want a guy that's a bad boy. So
and I got told that one of the daughters was actually LeVar's real daughter too.
Really?
Yeah. The one in the red shirt. She was the one.
That's his real daughter in real life.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, she's a good actress, and I like Sydney a lot as a character. I liked her a lot. I liked. We didn't get a lot of time with Alondra. She was there. Of course, Jack. Jack almost stole every scene he was in because
Jack is amazing.
Yeah,
Jack is my favorite new character of the whole entire thing.
Oh, definitely.
Honestly, if they had a show with Shaw, Jack, and all the younger actors,
it would have worked.
I would take it.
I'll still take what he set up with Captain 7 of the G. I'll still take that.
Yeah,
because of course.
But Raffi's got to go.
Raffi's got to go.
Yeah,
Raffi is my least favorite character on the show.
Because she's Kurtzman Trick. That's why she's Kurtzman Trick.
I don't like her.
It's a reminder.
It's like Raffi is like the little like your little shithead little brother or whatever that your mom makes you take with her. Kurtzman was like, hey, Matalas, I love what you're doing with all your new kids, but you got to take mine with you. And you're like, I really don't want to. And they even make a joke of they even make a joke of 7 and 9's relationship together with her.
Then they got away from that quick. Yeah, they really.
Yeah, but then they pull like the Orville and then put the 2 lesbian lovers in it together in the command of the same ship at the end, and that makes no fucking sense.
With Jack as counselor.
No, not counselor.
Special advisor.
It was the captain's advisor. they made up a position and then proved Jack's point a bit.
Kind of is
made a position for him when he already joked about on the shuttle of getting his position through nepotism. Yeah. And I'm like, now Jack deserved better than that. Yeah, but I can sit here and say though that if anything they can do, because they did do it in the last episode, was they did a lot of time jumps. Mm-hmm. So it would be reason to say that, and I pray to God that they actually roll with it and just make a new Star Trek show. Call it The Last Generation. I don't care, and then just make it with the new Enterprise, and then they could say was a time jump, and he was on the accelerator program. Now he's the first officer of 7 and 9 or something like that,
or maybe jump to the H. Maybe jump to the H even. But I think as though I'm okay with Captain 7 too, because she earned it. I mean, curse check aside, 7 is a beloved character, and I could look at Jerry Ryan all day. I could look at Jerry Ryan all day, every day.
She has a personality.
Yes.
Reki was like having Wesley on the show, basically. We didn't have Wesley, so she took Wesley's place.
That is fantastic. Oh, my God.
Shut up,
Wesley. Alf made the meme of putting when he put the FNT guys on the bridge of the D, and he just stuck in Ryan there on Wesley's body.
Yeah.
God, it's just I don't know. It's just Raffi is like the fly in my ointment, and at the end,
Wesley.
Yeah, it's just.
She can be gotten rid of though very easily. I'm okay. I would be okay with the time skip, and here's why I think. I mean, he set the stage. It's the rechristened Enterprise G. The Titan earned her place as a hero ship in this season. Now the Enterprise G, she earned it with all the shit they went through with the strike. And in this final scene right here, where Q is back, and Ras, we already discussed this. So if you want to put any thoughts in on Q coming back at the end there, please do. He sets it up that this could be Jack's story. And you could do a time skip again and have Jack be a little farther along, and then you could easily remove Raffi as no longer first officer.
Jack is like number 1, and 709 is still captain.
Yeah,
I hate Raffi so much. I want to see her get red shirt. That's what. That's the only way I get satisfied.
Dude, I want to see.
I don't want her. I don't want her off screen. I don't want her off screen. I want to see it. I want to have that. Metalis owes that to me.
You mean what they did to Tasha, where they killed Tasha?
I was just thinking that.
Oh yeah. 7 and 9 has been like, like I'm not caught up. I was in the Delta Quadrant. I don't know about the Black Goo planet and everything. They land there. Oh, there goes my bitch.
Let's be honest. I'm sorry. 7.
I guess 7 likes dick again.
She wants that Chakotay D. She still wants that Chakotay D, man.
I gotta understand.
I'm gonna. Okay. All right. If you want to talk about another thing that bothered me about the rushed ending on Voyager. I have to sit there and say that there were a lot of things that were good, but then they started like trying to like, okay, all right, we got to wrap this up, guys. Let's go ahead and just have like random relationships that have this. So they're having a candlelight picnic dinner inside of his quarters or whatever, and she all of a sudden learns how to smile and let her hair down. And then I'm like, whoa, no.
Chakotay, they based it off of one episode where she was having the holographic romance with holographic Chakotay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
one episode.
So I will sit here and say that if anybody out of Voyager deserved something was Ensign Kim. Ensign Kim got fucked. Okay, so you got this dude. So let me get this right. So you had this dude that Captain Janeway got out of prison and said, "Hey, we know the Maquis better than anybody. Come with us and please fly our ship." So he's basically just a guy along for the ride. They get stuck in the Delta Quadrant. Here's a field commission of lieutenant, and then you got Kim in the back part going, "What the fuck?" I worked my ass off.
Kim for 7 seasons.
Yeah, and then to add insult to injury is that if you recall, a lot of people forget this, is that Ensign Kim is not the same Ensign Kim that got stranded in the Delta Quadrant. He's actually from a different universe. The real Ensign Kim from their actual universe gets killed, and then the one from the parallel universe.
I don't remember.
Yeah,
does it have something to do with the whole Year from Hell? Does it happen during then?
Yeah, it's something where he like it's. I think if I recall correctly, but either way, he still ends to kill him.
Doing the time skips too. Remember they did the time skips.
The year from Hell was so messy.
It's where the ships were like dividing up and everything, where they were splitting off or whatever into two separate universes. Either way, he stayed behind because the other one got killed and the other ship ended up getting destroyed. Something like that.
I don't remember this, and I'm shocked that I don't remember this.
And so that happened. And okay, now then let's speed up and go a little forward and everything towards the later seasons. Okay. Tom Paris hijacks a Delta Flyer and goes try to save the water planet. And so he tried to do Waterworld with Kevin Costner and everything and save that planet. And then he gets demoted to ensign.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, before the show's over, he's promoted back to lieutenant. And then I'm sitting there thinking, what about Harry? Harry's been doing the right thing the entire time. And he was probably the first one out of the crew to almost get laid by 7 or 9.
Yeah.
I was like, if you can't promote the dude, at least give him 7 or 9.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember the line, "You're obsessed over the Borg." I remember the obsessed over 7 and 9 Borg line. I remember that line. God, I don't remember the switch though, and this is bad for me. I usually remember this shit. Oh, Raster, you've just earned one of the rare awards of you got something that I don't remember in a show.
Wow. I have autistic memory on certain things,
and I got partial photographic memory, and I usually remember all this shit. So I
remember shit I remember shit that Sin doesn't all the time too.
I remember all the shit. So this is the first time somebody's remembered something I don't. So Raster, you get an award for that one right now, man.
No prize, man.
Yeah, get a prize.
Do I have a clip for this? Do I have a clip for this? That could be
Marvel usually gives out the no prize. Stan used to give out no prizes to people. So
here we go. Here, this will work real quick. There you go.
Yeah,
there we go.
Yeah. The whole thing with I mean, it's kind of like a thing where it just never got brought up ever again. But it's kind of like at the end of the episode, it's like, yeah, I'm here. You know, I'm still the same Harry, just from a different universe. And then they just never bring it again, and it doesn't matter.
Wow. I've sat through all of Voyager at least 4 times. And granted, it's been a long time since I sat through it again, but wow. See, now that's going to stick with me for a while that I can't remember this. Damn. Season 4, episode 4, according to Legatus. Okay. See, Legatus always will look this shit up while we're doing this. All right. Well,
I'm looking up too.
Now, they did say that now, and that article I had up, it said they wanted to try and get Harry in there for the final, but they couldn't do it. Yeah. And it would have shown him having achieved higher rank other than ensign.
Yeah, he'd probably be like, "Congratulations, you made it to lieutenant."
Well, remember in the didn't he in the Voyager finale? Wasn't he Captain Kim in the Voyager finale? At least in the future that got changed. I think he was Captain Kim.
That's what I don't remember. I would like to say I would actually if I had to ask for a cameo, one of my favorite characters out of Voyager was actually the Doctor.
Robert Picardo was fantastic, and I'm surprised they didn't find a way to get him into this season.
They managed to get him in First Contact, for God's sakes, because they said EMS, do a dance, don't know, distract them.
I never thought I'd use one of these things. Turns them on. I'm surprised. I kind of thought he might appear, especially with the whole. To me, I wouldn't be surprised if this is my thought process on this. That Metalis would have done it as a hologram, rights to offset the synthetic bullshit that we had to deal with prior to that. As another subtle middle finger to Kurtzman Trek. I don't know. That's why I thought we might see Picardo as the Doctor in there, but then. Didn't happen.
Oh, you don't want to see the other Doctor, Andy Dick?
Oh my God!
Yeah,
on the Prometheus.
Oh my God! Yes.
What was that message? What was that message in a bottle? Was that the name of the episode?
He's like,
I remember the episode.
I had the song in my head when I saw the name. I was like, message.
And I don't think anybody wants Andy Dick anywhere near anything right now,
dude.
But where were we? We went off on a tangent there. I forgot where we were.
The Rock was also in Voyager.
Oh no! Okay, I'm completely off track now. I don't.
And it was not a jungle episode, surprisingly. And he had hair.
And he had hair.
Okay. I gotta get us back on track here. Where are we? Let's see. Here's what I want to talk. I want to talk about the Daystrom Institute episode where we got to Data. I want to talk about the Easter eggs for a minute because
I took a screen. I was going through that. I was looking at all this. Yeah,
they were glorious. I loved the. I first of all seeing the Genesis torpedo being wrapped.
I freaked out but that was Mark II. That was
Mark exactly. I'm glad you caught that. Some people I saw complain about it. How did the Genesis torpedo get there? And I said to myself, it said Mark II.
Yeah, I was like, wait, they went and redid it. Carol went back and redid a new one,
or somebody did. Somebody did it. I like the thought that they're sitting on a Genesis torpedo, and then of course, the one that really gets everybody is Kirk.
Oh my God! I was like, "What?" I had
with
to
life signs.
I had.
Was there life signs?
With life signs,
yes.
And I had to go back and read. I went back 3 times. I was like, "What the?" Because you heard dun 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 the original theme, and I was like, "Get the fuck out!"
And you see the body turn. And Kirk, there's Kirk. So I thought, "There's Kirk." Okay, there's Kirk.
Yeah.
And the Tribble episode. All right, thanks for being here, Alf. Take it easy, man. Thanks for being here. We will look forward to seeing you down the next Ball Busters, or before that, even. Who knows? So thanks for Alf for hanging out as long as he could. I love the attack Tribble.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that was funny when they.
I was always wondering what they actually look like underneath.
It's a bunch of like fucking.
And Worf's just like,
shit.
oh, even the mighty Klingons is afraid of the Tribble. It's just like, shut up.
I was actually glad that the writers did not forget. Oh, there's Alf again.
Hey guys,
he's on Dial Potato.
I hate to. I got to get going.
No problem, dude. No problem.
But thanks for having me on. I feel honored to be on. In the place of the scholar, but yeah, I had a good time and we had a good conversation tonight. So thank you.
As always, Alf. Thanks for being here, dude. Thanks for spending your time with us and help me out tonight with the panel. And of course, you are welcome back anytime. And we will see you next time on Ball Busters.
Yeah.
All right.
Later
gents.
See you, brother.
But yeah, I love the Tribble thing. That made me laugh.
Did you see all the when they were going through what this was also a person? Did you see all the names of the starships and stuff?
Yes.
Yeah, that was another son because they went through and it was where they go. They showed Kirk and then they went back into another screen and they were showing all the ships and stuff in that scene. I was like, wait, there was a ton of I was just like, the Easter eggs galore.
You want to talk about an Easter egg is President Chekhov. Actually, voiced by and they named him Anton.
Anton after Anton Yelchin. Yeah.
I'm telling you that I get mad respect for that.
Yeah. I appreciate it.
He goes, my dad, and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. So
Chekhov had his own son.
and it's respect though. That's respect for the Star Trek lore.
Yeah.
And I thought that was cool. But the thing that, like you said, freaked me out was, and the thing I saw Shatner say something about that. He goes,
Shatner's always good for that kind of stuff. He's always good to
because everybody started badgering him, and because I love Shatner because I got to hang out with him when I was younger. I didn't get to say about how I got into Star Trek. I got into Star Trek through my parents because my dad's an original Trekkie. He got to see the original first show on TV when it first came out. That was his show. Okay, and he got to watch Doctor Who and everything else. So, and then he started bringing me up with all this stuff. But I used to go to conventions. My parents used to be security at, you ever heard of Creation Con and all these other conventions back in the 70s and 80s?
Yeah, I don't have much knowledge on conventions.
Yeah, so I got to go, and so my parents were really good friends with the whole original cast. And, dude, Jimmy and them were just. Jimmy was hilarious. There would be jokes and stuff, and Shatner was a super troll.
I'm not surprised.
Dude, he was hilarious. And then if you ever talk to R&B, we had him on our show one time where they said, "Oh, this was Shatner's hairpiece," and Bill went over there and he goes, "Hey, this is my earpiece. Who wants to give me $100 for this or some shit?" And
I'm not surprised.
It's like because they make fun of he has a hairpiece, But yeah, Shatner was a super troll, and then Nimoy was chill as fuck. He was funny, but he was chill. And then Jimmy was over here. Everybody knew that he was a drinker. And he was like, "Hey there, boy, what's up?" And I was like, and I would tell them, I was like, "Hey, is Jimmy is he off tilt right now?" He's like, "Yeah, don't bother."
Go over there.
But that's how I got into it and everything else, and it's just, and I never got to meet any of the Star Trek. The ones that I actually got to hang out with a lot when I was younger was the original crew, and then. Later on, when Next Gen came out, my parents were still doing security, so I got to meet the Next Gen cast once or twice.
That's cool.
So yeah, and then Reading Rainbow came out at that time with LeVar.
Oh man, I
was like, dude,
I know that guy. I know that guy.
I go up to LeVar and I was like,
yeah.
And then LeVar, and then LeVar goes, "Reading Rainbow," and I was like, he comes over and gives me a hug.
That's cool. That's cool. One of my mods, Tranquil Waters, Mustang Ride, he knew Nichelle Nichols.
She was a super nice lady.
That's what he tells me.
One of the sweetest women on the face of the earth. I got to talk and hang out with her a bunch. She was so freaking nice. They to be honest, they were like a family, and I got to see it when I was a kid, and that's the reason why the original cast, I have that thing whenever somebody talks bad about Shatner or any of the others, they all had their problems because everybody, it's like some Galaxy Quest, like on Galaxy Quest, everybody thinks of them as these big people, but then when the real, he's like when Tim's like, "I can't do this. I was faking a captain," And Sigourney's like, "Dude," and then the guy that was he goes, "I was 8 when I did this. I don't know any of this shit." But they were, it was like she's like, "Come over here, let Bill go grumble off or troll," and she would talk to me and, all this other stuff, and Jimmy be over in the background telling dirty jokes and, dude, Jimmy was hilarious. That's where I got some of my jokes from when I was younger.
But this is, but we all have these great connections. I mean, you actually knew this stuff, but for people like me, it's just I feel pulled into these stories because these characters are so great.
Yeah, but that's the thing is, I learned early on, they were these characters, but they were also themselves too, So that's what I love about Star Trek and Roddenberry was super nice. I got to meet him more than a bunch of times, and Majel. Majel.
They showed so much respect to Majel.
And I like that part at the end. He goes, "You know what? I miss that voice."
When I heard when the D came back online and her voice came out, I thought, "Oh, that's respect right there."
I was just like, and I remember the day that because I know Majel. I actually got in touch with Majel when Jean died, and she was brokenhearted, man. Like, you know, like I was at the Arizona State Fair, and how I found out, because it was the USA Today. They had this thing out at our state fair, and Gene Roddenberry dies. What the?
Honestly, I didn't learn about it till the episodes aired, where they said "in memory of Gene."
And that's how I learned. And then as soon as I got home, I wrote a letter, or wrote a letter first, and they're like, "Why are you writing a letter? You can call them." I was like, "Oh yeah, I got Gene's number, and I got a bunch of other number. I can just or whoever I can call them." I was like, "I hope the number's still there." And then, Majel picked up, and I was just like, "Fuck." She was crying and everything, because you had to go. There was separate, like, you get separate numbers for like the public, but I actually had like a Stan Lee. Dude, Stan Lee was kind of like my grandfather a little bit, because I met him in like '86 when I was a kid, and then knew him all the way up until the point where his daughter was being such a bitch and keeping him away from people and fucking him up and everything else. But yeah, it's just Star Trek and Doctor Who and Stan and all this. It's just super. It gets me there, and and like I said, you gotta call out the bad shit. But if they do something good like this for next gen, and you have Q coming back like in the background, where we all love him, we all love these characters because they were a part of us.
Yeah, and it's so important that they. And again, this is why Metalis. I feel like he understands us.
Yeah, something that Kurtzman does not understand.
Kirby did not understand. Kirby just doesn't care.
Yeah,
because Kurtzman, he's a creature of Hollywood.
If I was a Paramount executive, and I watched the same people that just basically gave me dog shit for the last 2 or 3 years of the content that we put out on just about everything we do. And then there's the exact same people sing our praises when they released this one season. I probably would be rethinking about Kurtzman and actually thinking Metalis maybe should be the one in charge.
Yeah, if I was the CEO of Paramount right now, I'd kick that motherfucker out and give the keys to this dude.
Because he gets it. He worked on all the shows that we've talked about, DS9, Voyager. He worked on the shows. That's why he has a relationship with Jerry Ryan. So he was able to bring her and work well with her.
Yeah.
Todd Stashwick, he knew him from 12 Monkeys.
Yeah.
He knew he could bring in his own people. He knows how to get stuff. And every single time we saw an Easter egg, every single time he addressed a storyline that we wanted to see concluded, it hit home. And the argument of, fan service. I talked about this.
We love fan service.
I talked about this on Wednesday on Natural 20. I said there's good fan service and there's bad fan service.
Yeah, there is.
Picard is right. Picard season 3 is the example of how to do it right, where it's not just member berries and jangly keys, as Mr. Bug said. He joined me on Wednesday.
Yeah.
This is, look, I respect this storyline. I'm giving you a real storyline. Look, I'm having the characters behave as they should. Look, I'm going to give you the Enterprise D back. Now,
with the carpet, let's with the carpet.
I will say I want somebody to explain to me the whole Worf situation where he kept saying it wasn't my fault when they was talking about.
We were talking about that. That was when you came in and we were talking. That's what led to the conversation about Star Trek Online, that they had to retcon. They might have to retcon some stories, and we were talking about I think it was either Jed, was it you or was it Alf said in online that they should give you a storyline in there about Worf as captain of the E.
Yes, because I really don't think they're going to update, because I think Kurtzman has his hands on Star Trek Online too. He literally has his hands in everything. To be honest, I'm shocked that this season of Next Gen of Picard for all that actually came out, considering Kurtzman was there.
I don't know. Here's the thing. I agree with the belief that he wasn't there, that he had effed off to someplace else and was doing something, and they left Terry all by himself to just do it. And he didn't. And they basically said, a big old rubber stamp of do whatever you want. We don't care. You've got next to zero budget. I mean, there was an article a couple of days ago of how it took them 2 months and too much money to rebuild the bridge of the D.
Yeah.
And I saw somebody do the comparison on Twitter where they showed a shot of the Enterprise D from 1994, and they showed a shot of the they built, and they even got the water stain.
Yeah, and I noticed that because I saw the water stain there. I was like, "What the fuck? They got the water stain on the carpet."
I mean, I didn't pick that up because I didn't register me, but somebody caught that and put. I'm like, "Oh shit!" Attention to detail, and that's fan service. That is fan service done right. Unlike Disney Star Wars is going to roll out cameos and call that fan service, and it's not even real cameos. It's goddamn Filoni-verse.
Yeah, so Metalis is basically like Ferris Bueller or whatever. Drunk Uncle Kurtzman fell out drunk on the couch and everything, and the keys of his Porsche fell out of his pocket. And he's like, you know what? While he's drunk and passed out, I think I might go take the Porsche for a spin.
Hey guys, you want to go for a ride?
Yeah, but if we drive it backwards and everything, it'll roll back the odometer. So when he wakes up, he won't know.
Oh, it'll only go out the window. Yeah.
This feels like it. I like I said, I believe that he just was left alone to work with next to no budget. And the thing is, though, he went to all these people who some he's worked with and therefore has a reputation of knowing Star Trek, and went to all of them and said, listen, we can do this. And they all bought into it. I mean,
here's the thing is that it wasn't expensive either. He kept the cost down. It was some money, but he did it on a very low budget.
And it made it look good. The CGI didn't look like shit. And here's the thing: we don't, because of the technology back in the day with TNG. The Enterprise D was pretty much a stationary ship in every show. Whenever there was a battle, it was kind of just standing still. And we got a little bit of stuff in Generations, but right here, we got to see the Enterprise D gloriously fly. And here's the thing: I like, and I'm going to say this very carefully because I got
shipborne.
No, not ship. Oh, we can talk about shipborne. We've got that with shipborne.
There was tons of shipborne in there.
Oh yeah, there was. But I have to say this carefully because I got clipped for it last time. I like the Enterprise D. I'm all for Enterprise D. But I also was a fan of the Enterprise E because I liked its style. But we didn't have enough time with the Enterprise E to fall in love with it like we did with the D.
Yeah.
Again, I'm being very careful how I say this because Dermy is waiting to clip this shit and get me on it.
Yeah, he's probably gonna clip us.
Yeah. I said it the other day and they clipped me on it. I know they did. But the to see the Enterprise D get this resurrection.
Yeah, and it made me smile. The first minute, because I didn't think
and they made it make sense.
I didn't think they were. I had an inkling, but I was like, wait a second, the ship's gone. It blew up.
I thought they were going to steal the Enterprise A for a minute.
Yeah. I thought they were going to. Yeah, I thought they were going to steal one of the earlier ones, and I was like, wait a second.
Or the Defiant. Well, I thought it was steal the A or the Defiant. That's what I thought they were going to do.
Well, but no, the whole thing. The whole thing with it's like everything is like like you said, there's bad fan service. Well, I would be honest with you because I think I made a comment and everything during Vet's talking where there was one point where I was like, "Are they dangling the keys in front of me?" Is when they first got to the museum.
Where is it?
The episode. Or they got to the museum and then they start playing. Like the themes from each one of the shows went dun, 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 when they show Voyager or whatever, and I'm like, okay, they're just fucking with me. This is fan service.
That's shipborne. That's shipborne.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, all right, and it's so bad that they have conditioned me where I was like, okay, we're about to be fucked here with some stupid shit.
Yeah,
but it was nice.
And then I find out that not only did they give me that fan service, there was a purpose for it later on. Yeah. Where like, hey, guess what? Old Daddy Geordie had stored up in the garage or whatever. he's been breaking out the wrenches on his spare time to fix up the old D. and then he explains and says, hey, because they're real serious about the Prime Directive and they didn't want to leave all that stuff on that planet by itself. And I'm like, well, yeah, actually, that makes perfect sense. Thank you for actually understanding that needed to be recovered, and Jordy didn't want it to go to waste because he was running a museum.
And that's the original sponsor section. They got all the parts, and yes,
I know. And in the part, I love what you took when Seven and Jack were talking, and she was showing off. She goes, "What ship is that?" He goes, "Boom." He knew them all. He knew all the ships
except Voyager, and she goes,
"Except Voyager." He didn't know.
That's
he goes,
my ship. That's my home, and that was part of the whole theme of the idea of family and crew as family. Yeah. See, that was the ship porn on that one, and.
Oh God! I was like,
I would have liked to see. I would have liked to see Janeway, to be honest with you. And I know that they couldn't get her, but
yeah.
Oh, they teased it multiple times.
And here's the thing: up until the final episode, I thought it was going to happen, but then I was watching Open Bar with Critical Drinker and Mahler, and Drinker freaking spoils it. Janeway doesn't show up. I was like, why did you just do that to me?
That's the reason why I didn't watch anything.
I got 3 episodes left. Why did you just do this to me?
I appreciate they got Tuvok back, but the problem with I was having with it was that I don't recall anywhere ever in Star Trek history where another captain gives a promotion to captain to a commander.
Well, it was his last dying wish. It was basically he did that hologram right before he died.
Oh, I get that it was
started. Yeah, he sent that out right before everything started.
Yeah, I get that was his recommendation, but I did not like that Tuvok was the one that was done. To me, it felt like it made sense that I was expecting like that would have been a perfect scene for Janeway to do that.
Yeah. So.
But like we were talking earlier, they couldn't get Kate Mulgrew, and as I alluded to that part, I'm glad if she was going to show up, that would have been the moment. I wouldn't have wanted her showing up when the fleet was going all to hell, because then that might have stolen the thunder from the crew of the Enterprise. From the crew of the Enterprise.
What the sheer fucking hubris lady and everything got her shit fucking cleaned up. So on the Enterprise F, she got the F.
She got F'd on the F. Yeah, I had no problem seeing Shelby get whacked at all. And some people saying, I saw a bunch of shill articles trying to pretend they care about this. Riker's old rival came back. Yeah, Riker's old rival, head of Starfleet, got her ass kicked in 2 seconds because she was stupid. And again, I think that's Metalis going, Shelby, the Borg expert, didn't see that she was Borgifying the entire goddamn fleet.
That was Metalis's big FU to Kurtzman right there. Like,
this whole everything about it. It's just all back to I think what we're talking about there is the Metalis carefully lined all these things up because he cared about it. He wanted with this, and he set the stage for the future. And like you guys said, the keys to the kingdom that she would put in his hands. I mean, here's a chance to rebuild Star Trek. We are all in. But no, here comes Starfleet Academy. I don't care if it's been in production for over a year. The obvious success of this and the reaction from actual fans like us should be all you need to know of. Yeah, you know what? Let's can this and let's go in another direction right now. Let's not do this. Let's do a Section 31 movie.
Oh, it's gonna be shit. Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care. I'm out. I'm in. But I said this when this started. And that, of course, I'm on the record saying this before we got to this end of this episode. This didn't save Star Trek.
No, it didn't. It
made us feel happy. Yeah,
it let us know what we could have. And
I said this earlier. I have watched this scene at least a dozen times in the past few days because I want it. I want to see this. And every time I go, every time it ends, this is me. Oh, I want it. I know I'm not going to get it.
Yeah.
It's one of but that's exactly what I'm saying. Is like to me, it seems like these entertainment companies and they just work against themselves all the time. I was like, anybody would know that Metalis, and I don't think anybody has ever said really that Metalis did a bad job. I mean, I know some people have said the only people that are complaining about season 3 is because they're already so black-pilled on the series as a whole. It's not because of what was in season 3. It's because of what happened before.
Yeah, they're so. I'm like, I know people that have been Trekkies and they're like, no, fuck this show, fuck Picard, it's not next gen.
Yeah, there are some people who are taking who are reacting to what some people are saying, but those people didn't even watch it.
Yeah, I was talking to Steven on Twitter. I don't know if you saw this, but me and Steven were talking about Picard season 3, and this person goes, "Oh, screw it," and then screw you with this pew cock and all this, and I was like, well, we know what camp they're in right now because we know the camps.
And like we've said, and we've all said this in various discussions for the past few weeks. If you didn't want to watch this because you are upset with this, that is fine. And that's kind of the difference between there's two different people who didn't want to watch this. There's those who said, and I have some of them who are regulars in my chat, even some of my mods. They were watching it through me, and they were appreciating that I was having a good time, but they still don't want to watch it because they're burned. But they weren't angry that I was watching it, and they weren't angry that I was having a good time.
Yeah,
they were just. But there are some people who are spitting out the, oh, here it is. And I know we talked about this last night on Ballbusters. EVS came out and was screaming, "Doomcock was right. It's woke." But we all know EVS didn't watch it. I know that some people said that.
No, he hates Star Trek.
Yeah, he hates it. I know there's some saying EVS just being a troll.
That was Ethan being a troll, just to be a troll.
Yeah, but it's just it does him being a troll in this instance. It's not serving the purpose of you're making the wrong people angry. You're trolling us, who are people who are in the same sphere as you, who support a lot of what you do to fight, push back into stuff. Why are you trolling us when we're telling you that it's not woke? There is no and to the one thing that I replied to Ethan, he put up a scene of a screen cap of Riker and Picard and Worf going off to the Borg ship, how it began, and then showed the clip of the surviving members of the Titan bridge crew on the Titan after it's all over, and that's how it ended. And I said that those are completely two out of context scenes that have nothing to do with each other at that moment. And that scene, if you look at the women, that's more about Geordi seeing his daughters alive and safe.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, the emotional stake of like, because really honestly in the entire show or whatever, I don't really think that there was any like gravitas put towards all the younger Starfleet officers have been assimilated. The only person that had that could give it gravitas would be Geordi, because both his daughters were the ones that are being assimilated.
Yeah, he was the window.
It was needed.
How bad that was, every time they focused on the Titan and the assimilated crew, it was always Sydney up front and ready to kill. And in that one moment, right before the Borg Queen buys it, Sydney and the rest of the bridge crew are ready to take out Seven and those who are okay, and nobody wants to shoot, but then it doesn't happen. And you realize that, and that scene, that picture also is Seven having taken command and giving a very proper captain-esque speech of, "We are all that remains of Starfleet. We are the thin line that's going to keep this from going over the edge. We have to do this." And she had earned it at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what that scene also, that is someone who is risen to the rank of captain through deeds. And at the same time, it's Geordi's daughters. They survived. And he is, because it cuts to him right after he said that, it cuts to him and he's emotionally, my daughters are alive. They're safe. And because we did our job. We are the crew. Like Riker said, we're the crew of the Enterprise. I love that moment. We're the crew of the Enterprise. This is what we do. We save the day.
Yeah. It wasn't doom and gloom. It was like, it to me, it felt they were in a very dire situation. Don't get me wrong, but I liked that they managed to still stay uplifting as much as possible,
because it's what they have seen. And again, what they've seen, what I loved in the beginning of the final episode was when the D is right up in front of the cube and then it zooms out. And that's right out of a TNG episode with whenever the Enterprise D was
Dyson sphere.
Not Dyson sphere, but facing off against a Borg cube where it zooms out and it's just this tiny little ship against this massive force. And the Enterprise D, as I said, we got to see her in glorious form. fight the cube, because again, I think also that cube was not operating at peak performance. It had been
no, it wasn't. That cube.
Yeah.
We've seen the cubes do things before.
Yeah, but that thing was not. It was great though. It was great.
They were literally cannibalizing their own drones inside the ship now and then to keep it running. I mean, from my understanding.
Yeah. Hang on. This one is for Jed. Real quick. Hang on. Let me get up here.
You are a worthless turd.
There we go. Hi, Jed. Hi, Gay Jed. We're going to call you Gay Jed because we have an actual Jed on the show here right now. We love you, Jed. We hope you're having a good time wherever you are parked right now, and we hope that drunk 3PO did not drown you with his gas. Although I got to say, I watched it earlier. He put on that onesie. Much respect for Jay putting on that onesie at the gas station there. That was funny as hell.
Yeah, I bet he cuts. I bet he's in charge of closing the butt flap after he leaves the public restroom. I can't quite reach it, Jed. Can you help me out?
We hope you guys have a good time. We will
farts right in. Jay farts right in his face.
We will see you when you are freed up to join us on the next stream, whether it's tomorrow or next week. We hope you have a good time there, my dude. All right. Anyway, but yeah. So I again, the respect to showing the Enterprise D just being the hero ship we know her to be.
Yeah.
And it was just glorious watching her weaving it out there. And when the Enterprise
he burned a hole in his seat.
I love it. But when after, and I want to talk about this final scene because to me, I think it's glorious they did it. But when after Picard saves Jack and Jack saves Picard and stops it all, to have the Enterprise just swoop in above them.
Yeah.
After Deanna was able to make a connection with Will, I loved it. I just went, woo! It was fantastic, and they get out of there. It's great.
She didn't crash the ship.
Yeah, she didn't crash it. Yeah. And it's respect, and I want to say it's respect also because here we are, this moment of Picard versus the Borg Queen, as it should be. We talked about earlier. This is how it should be, and we have it. And he goes into the Unimatrix to get Jack out when he realizes he can't reach him. He has to confront his fear of the collective and get in there one more time. He goes in, and I said this earlier, he wins the day by being a good dad.
Mm-hmm. You don't see that on TV or movies or anything anymore. A guy actually being a good father. They're all bad dads and all this other shit, you know.
And
they could have took the easy way out now and then with all their shitty writing and have Beverly beam down or whatever and be like, please, baby boy, you know, and Mama comes and saves the day or whatever. But no, they gave Picard that opportunity to be a good dad.
Yeah,
because Terry had set the stage for Picard didn't know he was a father. And he had never been given the chance to be Jack's father for the first couple decades of his life. And therefore, he wasn't going to run from this. And it was great and simple in the last episode where when Jack took control of security and left the then Titan to go find the Borg Queen, he was pissed that Jean-Luc didn't have his back there. So you're my father. You're supposed to have my back. What? Your protocols don't dictate how you're going to behave in the situation? Screw you. I'm out of here. I'm going to go get my answer myself. It was a great little resolution to that where it's, hey, I'm here now because you need me. If you're going to die, if this is your choice to die, then I'm going to be here and I'm going to give you a dad hug. And the dad hug just triggers the proper emotion of their attempts to connect in that in the short amount of time, how it's a Jack's story of looking for connection and finding it that he isn't alone. And it's right there. He's got a family. He's got a real family. And he's got what the lesson that Picard tried to teach through multiple episodes, that you can have your real family, but also if you cannot find it, as he said, he was looking for it, your crew can be your family. And they will be there for you to support you. And if you let them in, that don't create the barriers like I did. I let them in, but only to a certain point, and that made a lot of mistakes in my life. But now You need to let them in. I will let you in. We can all have each other to lean on. And that's what brings Jack back. And then Jack gets to save his dad in that moment because Picard was stuck in there. He was stuck when he jabbed the cable to get assimilated. He couldn't get out. He needed Jack to pull him out. And that's it's symmetry, and I love it.
I like that part where when he did put it in there, you see all the stuff from the part when he was Latitus, or how you
yes.
You saw I am the Borg. I am,
You mentioned that, Jed. Metalis really properly paid homage to Wolf 359 in the series.
Yeah.
Especially with Shaw's backstory. That blew me away. In that episode when we got Shaw's backstory that he was
in the bar when he made that speech in the bar. He's like, yeah, do you know about your old man kid? He's the one that almost killed all of us.
And during that, you hear the voiceover of Wolf 359.
Yeah.
Powerful. And it's respect. And that's, we're getting connected to a brand new character who doesn't survive, but gets a man's hero's death. Shaw goes down as a man trying to protect and save his crew.
And he says 7 and 9. You have the bridge. You are the captain.
That nice little wrap up of their little private arc.
Yeah. Instead of calling her Shaw, it says 7 and 9. Yeah. You have the bridge.
And you realize that he's not the dick that you think that he is.
No, I thought he was a huge fucking dick, especially when he was there drinking and was with Jack and Picard. I was like, God damn, he's a dick. Well,
think about Todd Stashwick. He plays dick really well.
Yeah.
He plays dick well. Yeah. He's awesome as dick. I mean, Deacon in 12 Monkeys is just awesome. I love Deacon in 12 Monkeys. But
you have to have sacrifices for the show to go on too.
Yeah.
They
stakes. There has to be stakes. You can't live in the bubble of everybody's going to survive. Once in a while, you got to kill somebody off, and it just shows you when Shaw buys it. I just went, oh, because I went, oh, come on, no.
I thought he was a huge fucking prick, and then I began to like him, and then at the end where he goes 7 and 9, you have the bridge, and then you're captain now, and then he just died, and she's like looking down. I was like, oh fuck, no. I like him now.
I've grown attached to you in these 10 episodes. 9 episodes. I've grown attached to you, and that's the art of good character work, and that's part of what makes Star Trek good. Yeah. The show is driven because, and all the shows are driven because you become attached to the crew of each ship, or in DS9's case, station, and you care about what happens to them. And for them to do this in such a short amount of time with a new character, again, it has a lot to do with the actor and the fact that Terry Metalis and Todd Stashwick have worked together before, so they have a working relationship, and one knows how to get the best out of the other in terms of performance. It hits home, and you have a great time. What I usually like to do on a show like this, what we usually do on a Saturday Night Drive-In, is as we near the end, I like to talk about music.
Yeah.
And how music elevates stuff. One of the ways this show is elevated is because we had music that was appropriate. Not only did you get hints of classic Trek themes in there, but the original themes were great.
Yeah, you heard that when you saw that, Kirk was still alive with life signs and shit.
But it's even the original stuff that they came up with. But one of my some people say that it was slow episode, but I liked the episode where when they lure Vadic onto the Titan and they try and trap her, but she turns the tables, and when the changelings are hunting everybody down and Jack and Sydney are separated by a force field, and Jack takes control of Sydney to save her life. Mm-hmm. The music playing in that moment had me on the edge of my seat. I was fully invested in that moment, and there were a lot of other scenes where I was invested because the music pulled me in, and I believed it.
Yeah, so, I totally agree. I think music is a big element in everything that I think needs to be talked about more so in TV shows.
Well, yeah, I will bring up one thing. One part where the music is key was in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Music was spot on because you had young Indy where you heard it, when he almost fell into the snakes and that whole thing when he goes through all the train card, and then at the end of the thing you hear dun 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 dun, and then you go into Indy and it goes into and then you see his dad
and he gets the scar on the chin.
Yeah, he gets a scar on the chin, and you hear Indy's theme, but he's not Indy yet. He's young Indy still.
He's Henry Jones Jr. Still.
Yeah.
I think one of the things I just don't I never liked when a show tries to go off and just like I was like, oh, that then just it's like people just want to be original. I said no. Again, the music can come from the fan service can come from the music as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think the guy that does the music for this, I forgot his name off the top of my head because I think he was also in charge of doing the music for like House of Cards and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think,
mm-hmm.
But he ended up doing the theme for Strange New Worlds. Strange New Worlds. When I first heard its theme in the beginning, that sent chills up my spine in a good way. I was like, if you heard that where it shows Pike doing our first 5-year mission or whatever, and
I haven't watched it.
I haven't watched it. No.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Honest, I haven't watched it.
Oh my God. I mean, it is. Okay, when you watch the old J.J. Abrams, his reboots of Star Trek, none of that is until the very end credits where you actually hear the Star Trek theme. The entire time of the show, whatever, when they show the Enterprise and stuff like that, they have their own theme, and it's nothing like what the originals was.
Yeah, Stephen Barton.
Yeah.
He also worked on 12 Monkeys. I love the scene. Yeah, so Stephen Barton gets it.
Yeah.
Gets it. And one of the things I loved is, and I questioned this throughout the season, why were they playing the TNG's theme at the end of every episode? And you get the finale here. Now I understand why.
Yeah.
Because they wanted you to be ready to sit down and enjoy it, because that final moment of watching everybody play cards.
I love that at the end, how they went out is everybody, you see them playing cards, because that's how they ended a couple episodes like that.
Well, that's how they ended All Good Things.
Yeah.
But you never actually saw the game. This time we see the game.
Everybody's credits they're going around like there, and they're actually playing the game and stuff, and
it's joy. You're watching, and of course they gave you a full great orchestration of the TNG theme.
Exactly. It wasn't just hints. It was the literal.
Yeah,
it wasn't even little fanfare.
And it wasn't even the first Contact version they've been playing for the entire season. It was the full, not even the opening credits theme. It was the full 2.5-3 minute theme. And it's glorious. I've been whistling it for days now. Ever since I've been watching this, I'm humming the TNG theme again. For years. I haven't allowed myself to do that for years. I'm doing it again because I have such a good time. I mentioned this yesterday when we were talking about Ballbusters. I'm ready to buy TNG Complete Series on Blu-ray now. I've been putting it off for years. I'm ready to do it. It's on there. I'm going to wait for a good sale come holidays, and I'm going to grab it because I want it now. I want to put it on my shelf. Now, if they give me a Blu-ray of DS9, I'd get that too. I ain't buying the DVDs. Yeah. I want Blu-ray of DS9. God damn it! I want full remaster. But it's I want that because I'm going to get this. I'm going to get this. I'm going to get season 3, and I can watch it all, and I can feel satisfied because I get an ending. Even though this right here leaves me wanting more, I can at least have the wishful thinking.
Yeah.
And it's left me with that, and knowing that there is somebody out there who at least has a connection to this, that understands Star Trek and is willing to give it to us if left to his own devices. He's not going to bend the knee.
Well, here's the thing. I will say this. Oh, were you going to say something? I'm sorry, Russell.
I want to take a minute to actually talk about that scene for a minute with Q.
Go ahead. Yeah, we didn't.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead. You missed our earlier conversation. Go right ahead.
Yeah. My thing is that I am legendarily known to be a black pillist. So take this for what it's worth. I actually have optimism for that to turn into a show, because they wouldn't have put that there if at the very least this is Metallic's pitch to Paramount. Like, hey, Kurtzman's been doing this right here, but hey, you saw what I did, right?
I give you real Delancey cue.
And I want to say this too. They sold out all the theaters that had the last two episodes.
Did they?
They had to turn away thousands of people because they couldn't get in the theaters.
Wait a minute, Jed. Are you telling me that fans actually showed up and wanted to hand over their money to something they were enjoying?
Yes, and they had to. We talked about this last night. Yeah. They had to turn away thousands of people in theaters that had all playing Picard. It was packed to capacity.
Gee, what's been going on lately? What in the past couple of weeks? What's been massively successful? First we had, I don't know, Super Mario Brothers fan service galore. They brought Return of the King back to the theaters. They had to turn people away from that. They had to add extra showings, and here we go. A taste of real Star Trek.
Like, and then you get the people, like we say, the black pill camp, which some people we know that push the black pill every day. Won't say names, but that it's how you black pill if you see that theaters the people are actually like, hey, I want to give you my money. We can't let you in. We're packed, man.
Eventually, studios are gonna be like, "Hey, we like money." I mean, they're gonna be like,
not like we need money.
That's what I'm saying. Money. And I said this at some point. They're gonna have to. When you see something that works like this, and then they're turning people away across the country because all the ones here in Phoenix were packed. It was they had people standing in the back.
Jeez.
Just to watch this.
Now I want to harken back to something about 8-9 months ago with Jed the Hollywood Scholar, when he and I first met, and I brought him on to my show Natural 20.
Yeah.
We had a discussion about all these franchises that we've seen destroyed. And the question was, we went through all of them: Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who, everything. Can any of these be saved? And I believe we can go. It's on the playlist. We could go back and look at it, and we're gonna go look at it. Yeah. Jed and I agreed that if you went to a point right here in Star Trek and moved it forward from the actual stuff that was good and forward, and simply pushed aside the Kurtzman stuff, you would win people back. This is the evidence. This is the evidence. This is the evidence right there. Yeah.
And Paramount needs to wake the fuck up and go, hey, we got a gold mine right here. People are actually paying us for Star Trek again. What the fuck?
I mean, how much people, when it happens, for the collectors out there, a Q statue, how much do you think you jump on that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, if I had the money, I'd jump on that.
Ensign Jack. You get an Ensign Jack. I mean,
I think that they would, be throwing a lot away by getting rid, like not doing something with Jack Crusher and making him he should be the face of Star Trek moving forward.
He's the future.
And also I think he's actually Jack Picard. I felt that in the final moments when they're on the shuttlecraft heading to the G, I think it's pretty much alluded that he's taken his father's surname.
Yeah, and you can tell Picard. Because Beverly, and I don't, if I'm missing, I could have sworn that Beverly kind of had the Picard name too now.
They said they're still calling her Admiral Crusher though. They called her
Admiral Crusher, but they didn't announce.
I think they're together. I think they're together.
They were together because Jack's
poor Romulan chick just got
that's what I'm saying. That's another FU Kurtzman trick right there.
Yeah.
We shuffled you out.
She was, but that Romulan chick was hot though. She was definitely a hot MILF.
Oh well, yeah. Well, that's aside. That's different conversation. Different conversation.
This ain't Ballbusters.
But I mean, yeah, right there, they're a family unit, and I think he's Jack Picard at that point. I don't think he's Jack. I think he's full on Jack Picard. They just they don't come right out and say it, but I think
and that's the reason why because you remember they said Crusher throughout the whole series. Remember this? And did you note? And I said, and I put this up, and I said, wait a second. They said Emerald. Even they didn't say her last name.
No, they did. They did say her last name. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, are they sure? Because I don't.
They said
remember.
Admiral Crusher, Albert Picard. I'm pretty sure they said it. I'm pretty sure they said it. Hang on. I still have it right here. I have it right here. I haven't gotten rid of the.
Because I think they were kind of because they. Because they only went.
I don't think they were necessarily together. I think they were taking a co-parenting moment.
Maybe. I'm saying that could be it too. I think it's a 50-50. They might be together, they might not. I think I said as much in my review that it feels like they could be together, but feel
because the way they were when they were talking and Jack and they were both like trying to get him. He's like, and Jack was.
It's been a year. It's been a year. Yeah.
So Jack was like, Mom and Dad are together, and I'm like with Mom and Dad now, and then they talked about Picard when he first got, sent out and stuff, and then they acted like they were together.
He does the Space Doc does say Admiral Picard, Admiral Crusher. It does say they do say Admiral Picard, Admiral Crusher. But that doesn't mean they're not together. That doesn't.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It was like they were like together because
may not be married.
You know how they hyphen sometime, like.
Good. Well, that we got to remember though. In All Good Things, she kept the name. Future Beverly in All Good Things kept the name.
I know
of her ship there. I think it's either way. Either they're just a family unit where all things have been put aside and they're happy in this, or they might be together. Well, because you notice they are sitting next to each other during the poker game.
Yeah, they are.
They are sitting next to their poker game.
Yeah.
But to something you guys said earlier. This is kind of, I think it was Alf that said it. This is kind of shit we want to be discussing. Are Beverly and Jean-Luc doing it now? Are they back together? That's the kind of nerd shit we want to be talking about.
They Botox bumping it.
I listen, I still see the Gates McFadden I lusted after when I was a kid. I still see it in there somewhere. I admit it. The
cards go, I can't do it anymore.
Sir Patrick tried at certain points in this season. That's why I say that Metallus seemed to get it. At moments, he found his voice again. He didn't seem quite as feeble.
Well,
as
at the end of episode 9, it was like they hadn't skipped a beat. Everybody went back to how they were in the series. He's like, okay, number 1 over here. And Data's like, what do you call you? He goes, Captain.
I just, everybody, stations, thank you. Let's do it.
And then the thing that cracked me up about was when Beverly went in there and whooped some ass.
It's been 20. It's happened in 20 years.
And I said this. There you go. That's not how Beverly Crusher. I was like, dude, do you know how much shit she's been through?
And I'm okay with it.
Basically a pirate. So
she was basically a pirate trying to jump from system to system with Jack.
And in that moment, she's also a mama bear. In that moment, she's a mama bear, and I loved it. And of course, in watching the Enterprise D just strafe the hell out of that cube because it was glorious, and that's fan service. I love it. All right, guys, we have been at this for 2.5 hours. I feel comfortable putting a bow on it, but it's been great having you guys here. Go ahead and pimp your shit on the way out the door here. Jed, go ahead.
I'm Jed Ravenwolf, man. I'm trying to do things on Rumble because the commandant of YouTube doesn't really like us, and then they kind of like gave our homie Gundam a fuck.
Yeah, they did Gundam dirty today, man.
They did Gundam dirty, so Gundam, we hope things get fixed.
I was reading that before the stream.
Sorry,
I just saw the thumbnail as we were talking.
But I'm still gonna be on YouTube, and till they boot me. But I'm gonna go over there to Rumble too, man.
I'm on Rumble too. It's just I get zero traction on Rumble unless you're right now.
My thing is, I was talking with Sin about this earlier. That I think we need a lot more people need to go over and do more things on Rumble, but do it on both places. Stream on both.
Yeah, I'm auto-synced. I've been auto-synced on Rumble since this channel went live, basically. Yeah. And everything gets uploaded there. But it's just, we're not all Ricado. We can't just go over there and bring our
that's what I'm saying. Audience. We got to work. We got people like you and me. We have to work for it. So.
And the problem is, I have my political opinions. This channel is not a political channel.
Yeah.
Therefore, Rumble is built on politics right now, so it's very hard.
Well, that's the reason why I'm trying to bring other people, and I want to do different things over there because there's a lot of political, but dude, when they figure out that it isn't all political, that shit's gonna light up.
We're all there. It's just the algorithm. They need to work their algorithm to push our stuff too, the non-political stuff. Yeah, because
the whole thing with Rumble, people ain't going to Rumble for cat videos and how-to videos, unfortunately, and they need to get that. They actually need to get that way.
Yeah, so I mean, it's better than Odyssey. Odyssey doesn't even upload half the stuff I have.
And Odyssey has a cutoff point at 2 hours.
Yeah. And then I get nothing streams from the Rumble. I'll give Rumble credit. Everything I do within 24 hours is on Rumble. It's there.
Yeah, I've been waiting for almost 3 weeks for them to upload the Archivist channel, and it's still not up there.
It took me when I did it. I think it took about a week before.
And I've been waiting 2 or 3 weeks. I gotta send an email to him.
Yeah,
but here I want to so we can get on the thing. It's my name's Jed Reverend Wolf. You can see me at Jed Reverend Wolf on Twitter, and I'm on Rumble and YouTube. And I may have a birthday thing this week, and you'll probably see me on the Ballbusters all the time now because I like going over there. It was cool as hell, and I do. And I'll have to do it after the Cocktail Lounge. You can come, you can come over to the Cocktail Lounge with us too, and then I'll have everybody. We'll just go from Cocktail Lounge over to the fucking Ballbusters.
Hey, it's But we don't even know. We don't even know what that show is yet. We don't know.
Yeah, dude. I was talking to Jeremy about it, and he was like, he was jazzed that I was over there last night because he goes, "Yeah, dude, you're really fucking, you know your shit, man."
Yeah.
You're funny. You want to have fun over there.
75% of Ballbusters is us razzing on Jeremy. Let's be honest.
Yeah, and he goes, "Dude, you fit in well out over there last night, man." He loved me coming over there. I was like,
"It works." So, all right, Raster.
You feel me on you can find me on Rumble. It's Jed Reverend together but then we have the other channels and other stuff over there, and I'm gonna try to put the Archivist over there as soon as I gotta talk to Rumble about channel. But we're gonna I'm gonna try to do like Rumble only streams for over there, so people have to go over there at some point. Because you can do a lot more that the common guns that YouTube don't want you to do.
I think Jeremy's going to dual stream Ballbusters there. I said that he's going to have a section when we cut off for the spicy stuff. Whatever that means. I mean, we already break all the goddamn rules.
Yeah, it's, so. But yeah, you can see me on Rumble and YouTube, Twitter, and then I'm thinking about going over doing some Twitch stuff too. But
I'm not going near Twitch. I might.
It probably won't be around by next year.
I know, and I'm waiting for Kick to pick up a little bit more because I can't get it on my TV or anything. I have to be on the computer.
I bet Elon buys Twitch.
Dude, that'd be funny as fuck if Elon got Twitch.
I get banned within a minute on Twitch. I'll say the word retard and I'm out.
Oh, dude, I've been banned like a couple times on there, but they keep bringing me back. I don't know why, because I don't,
All right, Raster, what's going on over with you?
Not much. I'm just Rastercaster at Real Raster at Twitter for right now. Right now doing streams like this. Again, I appreciate you having me on. I really enjoyed it.
Pleasure having you.
Like being late. Yeah,
no
thank
problem.
you.
No problem. Yeah.
And been getting quite the harassment and everything behind the scenes now that I need to be starting my own channel. And
that's how I started.
And trust me, it's not without me wanting to. It's just a lot of things going on, but and I am a perfectionist and also an animator. So I wanted to incorporate that and try to make this work into like a kind of like, if you remember, like, Space Goes Coast to Coast or whatever. I kind of want to start doing something along the lines where I'm actually.
It's the good old days, dude.
I would not be using StreamYards. I'll be using a different service that allows for a more customized layout to make that plausible. I've been working behind the scenes to actually trying to get a digital puppet working to where my raster persona and everything will actually be animated and talking with people live.
I want to get in. Yeah,
I not to go into too much detail, but I actually do this full time as a job, and so trying to do this and everything, like, on my own time, or whatever. It's kind of like, hey, would you like to do your work again? I'm actually trying to get things together so that when it happens, it comes out guns a blazing. That's the way I want it, and I don't want to just come in as like, hey, I'm Raster and I like Star Wars. I don't want to be like, coming in. That was my rag at Ryan on that one. But
that was glorious.
I kind of want to have some. Kind of want to have some sort of lore backstory with it. But I'm hoping that I gain enough traction and everything from doing things like this or whatever to be able to, take that to my channel as well. So again, I'm very grateful for everybody that does have me on. Except for Dermy, fuck him.
You're a riot, dude. We love you.
Thank you. Yeah, I hope Dermy says that. Fuck you, Dermy, and you will have me on your show. You have no choice.
Raster, hey,
you hunt him through time. I mean, it's what happens.
It's what happens. It's the way it works.
You got another show you can come over to now. Is the MFer.
The MFer. Which one's that one?
The MFer Cocktail Lounge. So.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll definitely be happy.
Yeah, I'm the producer over there, so Matt lets me bring anybody I want over there. So. Within reason.
Yeah, my biggest thing was that I am a night owl because I have family and all that stuff now. So
I'm a night owl too, and it's hard to find people to stream with or do stuff with. Because some people just date people and stuff, and I'm like, fuck.
I go as long as I need to sometimes. I mean, it depends on if I'm doing a gaming stream or whatever, and also I want to make sure if I'm doing something that my mods are awake. So it's a problem. I'm at a point where I do get the occasional troll trying to do shit, so I need to have at least one mod here to deal with shit. So,
I thought we would have got some trolls over here talking about Picard.
Nah, no, we're not waging it. I've had my SJW trolls, but I've defeated them all at this point, and they just will dislike a video and go away. They can't come in there because Legatus, he's quick on the trigger. He will crush anything that comes in here. If Mustang's here, he'll do it. But it's they've given up for the moment. And we weren't talking SJW shit tonight, so they weren't going to come in here and bother us. So
yeah, we were actually
they're all cowards.
We were actually talking about geek shit tonight. So.
Yeah, they're all cowards anyway.
And actually liking something.
Yeah, I know. We had fun. And this was fun. Again, thank you to Raster. Thank you to Jed. Thank you to Alf, Horny Alf, for being here. You can catch everybody in their stuff. And I will, on the re-upload, get everybody's information in the description because I wasn't sure who was going to make it here tonight. So I didn't have anything ready, but I will get it. Thanks again, everybody. Remember, if you enjoyed it, hit that like button. If you're new here, check out the channel, subscribe. I will see you guys on the next stream and next video. Until then, take it easy and boldly go forward. And let's just keep our fingers crossed. Maybe somebody be smart enough to give us Star Trek Legacy. Thanks, everybody. Take it easy.
Later.
And we are clear. All right, guys. Great show, guys. Fantastic.